Hello, everyone, and welcome to Arcane Mark. I'm Mark Seifter, and today I am joined by a gaggle of additional YouTubers. I'll let you all introduce yourselves in order.
I'm first, I think. We
Yes.
can't see the layout.
I know, it's like everyone's got a different order.
Here, so I'm Anto from Icarus Games. Hello, people of the internet. We have no idea who's in the
I'll
next
go. I'll go.
episode.
I'm Riker from the Cleric Corner. You find me on YouTube everywhere.
I'm Sean from Delver. Happy to be here.
I'm Stephanie from Stephanie Plays Games.
And I'm Matt. You might see me over on Tales of Initiative on Twitch.
So for today, we are going to be playing a one-shot that is an excerpt from the Duel of the Indigo Isles and Adventure Path for Kraken Week.
Yeah.
Kraken Week is like, the Shark Week from Discovery Channel, except with tabletop role-playing games and aquatic content and maritime content, and Jewel of the Indigo Isles, a very pirate-based adventure, so we're going to be playing it together. There's another thing that's pretty special about this group, which is that it's a pickup group from when a few of the people who are on the show asked if anyone would run a Pathfinder game, and I said yes. So, of these 5 people who are here, 3 of them have never played Pathfinder before. And not only that, we did not give a tutorial before this recording. They have character sheets that I helped them put together based on their ideas of, I want to play a smuggler who's a marksman with a gun, or I want to play a character who guards the rest of the party and makes electric attacks and things like that. But they have been given 0 additional instruction about Pathfinder. They're going to learn as we go along, and this video is going to sort of recount that journey.
I love our poker faces, guys. The audience knows exactly who hasn't played this before.
I mean, if you want, you can reveal yourselves, although, I think 2 people just pointed to themselves.
I was gonna look up a tutorial, and then I went, it'd be way more fun if I just went in fully blind.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, we are starting off not at the very beginning of the adventure path. Normally, there would be a scene where they meet with the royal family of Rumplank, but we're going to sort of do a montage that skips past that. And to start off that montage, I am going to ask each of you to introduce your character by giving your character's name, mention your character's ancestry and class, maybe a little bit about their appearance, and then explain why the royal family of Rumplank called you in to help search for the other half of their founder's missing treasure map due to some kind of exploit or achievement or something that made your character famous or interesting enough for whatever reason that they asked to have you in this group. So let's start with Anto. I'll just call on people.
Okay. So I am playing Zarprax, the Dragon Thaumaturge, although for a good portion I will be donning the guise of a sort of black-feathered, how do you pronounce the parrot folk?
Gamayun.
The Gamayun. As a black-feathered Gamayun called Haybird. That is my disguise. Caught the attention of the royal family of Rumplank after being involved in bringing down a parrot bear, and was brought in after that.
Parrot bear is pretty impressive. That's a level 4 creature, so probably was a rough fight for you and another group of your allies.
Still wear one of the orange feathers as a little trinket.
Next up, Matt.
I am playing a seaweed leshy, a plant folk kind of creature named Sudden Kelp, named for their ability to just appear out of nowhere. I am playing a rogue, and if you remember the tentacle baby from the first Men in Black, imagine that, but just with seaweed. That's kind of the vibe that's happening here. Just this tiny little creepy guy. And this is less of a thing that impressed the royal family and more of I'm getting myself out of jail, quite literally, because I tried to steal their half of the map, because I am also after this map treasure, being a Poppy fanatic background. And so I have been able to segue my imprisonment into well, hey, if you go get the other half of the map, we'll let you off the hook.
And Poppy von Barnacle is the name of that founder of Rumplank, and so this seaweed leshy is a fanatic of Poppy.
I love Poppy.
All right, so Riker, how about you go next?
Yes, I am a Slimeheart Chichori electricity champion. So a coral kin that has it's basically made up of a bunch of different corals, but mainly some sea anemone tentacles that kind of come off in patches, especially the top of his head that's kind of pulled up into like a big ponytail. And he knows the royal family because he's done a few favors. He's kind of like the royal knight that is good at his job, but really no one likes to have around because he's a little awkward. So people don't really know how to handle him a little bit. So he's like, all right, odd jobs here and there when we need him. Other than that, we'll just kind of leave him to his business. And this is one of those times.
That makes sense. Next up, Sean.
I am playing Ahoy, the Gameun sniper, former is a hard word for it, but a smuggler who aided in stealing some crown jewels, but was betrayed last minute by one of his partners. So he scuttled his ship, floated ashore with the merchandise, and then was hailed as a hero that stopped the thieves, and he just never corrected them. And so now he gets odd jobs from the royal family.
And last is Stephanie.
I'm playing Larawid the Whimsical. I am a Banog that got zooped into reality from the dimension of dreams, in which I was in a dream of one of the pirates on the crew that had the other half of the map. So I have an abstract dream concept of where it was. So I was brought before the royal family, although learning that there are no dream boats here, and like there are in the dimension of dreams, I have a hard time connecting where the two overlap in reality.
That makes sense. So Banogs are sort of dream rabbit ancestry that come from the dimension of dreams.
I also realized I forgot to say my name. It's Manny Anemone.
I see. I'm going to give an extremely brief tutorial of Pathfinder 2nd Edition to help all of you play Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So basically, I'm going to assume that you are comfortable and familiar with D&D already. So I'm only going to explain things that I think are going to possibly throw you off. So there's a few things. One, on your turn, when your turn begins, you gain a reaction and 3 actions. Anything that is on your sheet that says reaction will cost your reaction and can be used at any time as long as the sort of trigger, as it's called, has been met. Anything that says 1 action on your sheet uses one of those 3 actions. There's also a variety of basic things like moving that are going to use one of your actions, and so if you try to do something in combat that uses one of your actions, I will tell you that it used one of your actions. Now, you might have something on your sheet that uses 2 actions. In fact, the Gunslinger does not, but the other 2 do have at least one thing that uses 2 actions. That just uses up 2 of your 3 actions when you're going to use that ability. So that's sort of how the action economy works during an encounter. The next thing that's very important is that when you roll a d20 for a check, it's mostly kind of like you would expect, except that there's actually 4 possible outcomes of the check instead of 2. Instead of a success or a failure, you can also get a critical success or critical failure. A critical success happens when you roll 10 above the target number, and a critical failure happens when you roll 10 below. There's not always this different effect for each of these 4. For instance, on an attack roll, a miss is a miss. It doesn't get worse if you miss by 10, but there can be bad effects on a critical failure or excellent effects on a critical success. A natural 20 bumps your result up by 1 step, normally turning it into a critical success unless you were trying something so freaking difficult that it wouldn't have succeeded even on a 20, and in that case it might only be a success. Or if you're really shooting the moon, a failure. Similarly, a natural 1 makes it 1 step worse. But if you try something that's so easy, you might somehow wind up not critically failing on that. But in normal situations, the 1 is going to be a critical failure, and the 20 is going to be a critical success. And so that's an important factor to keep in mind. One last thing, there are hero points in the game, which you all theoretically would have 1 hero point, and then like roughly once per hour, I would give someone a hero point for doing something particularly heroic. Now, I think I'm going to forget to do that, so instead, you all have 1 hero point, and when you spend it, you will get another hero point, and that'll just be simpler for the sake of this tutorial. Now, why did I not just give you 2? Well, I'm about to tell you how you can use your hero points. So you can use your hero point to re-roll and take the second result of any kind of check where you're like, what? I critically failed my saving throw and died? I kind of don't want to do that. Or, I got dominated and now I'm fighting with the enemy team. Let's re-roll it. So that's 1 use. You can also spend all of your hero points to avoid death and just reduce your dying condition all the way down, which is kind of like having a lot of death saves that failed and then wiping the slate. So by giving you 1 that will then replenish afterwards, that means that you don't have a whole bucket that you'll lose if you need to use it for the dying reason. So that's kind of why I was doing it that way. So all in all, I would say that those are some of the main things that you're going to want to look out for. One last thing for mainly the fighty people, and you won't have to worry about it as much, Stephanie, which is when this 3-action economy means you absolutely can attack 3 times at first level. This is not something to be familiar to you. However, there is a push and pull. Every time you make an attack, which for one of you who has like grapple and shove and trip that says it's an attack as well, after the first time you take a penalty, a multiple attack penalty. It's very large. It's -5 or -4 if you're using an agile weapon. And so that's sort of the thing that's like, if you're like, well, why don't I just always attack 3 times every turn? Well, you probably should do that if you didn't take any penalties. But since you take penalties, it encourages you to try different actions, like intimidating the enemy to debuff them with one of your actions or something like that. Now, Stephanie won't have to worry about that because she has powerful abilities that cost 2 actions that are going to use up a lot of her turn.
Maybe I'm stab happy. We don't know yet.
We don't know. Yeah, it's possible.
I get a feeling.
It's possible. One of your 2 special powers is an attack. So if you use that one and then stab, you would be taking the penalty on the stab. Whereas your other one is like sort of like a mind blast cone, and if you stabbed after that, you would not be taking the penalty.
Sweet,
so,
that's good to know. I can be stab happy and effective.
Correct. And you'll see that there are many ways to be effective by working together with your team and setting each other up. And we'll see that during play. For instance, Stephanie has an ability that can make enemies off guard. And by virtue of having both a rogue who can sneak attack enemies that are off guard and a ranged character who doesn't necessarily get extra benefits from things being off guard, but can't just flank them to make them off guard, and therefore has a little more trouble making creatures off guard. And the ranged character has enormous crits if they succeed by 10 or more. It's going to make those abilities synergize together. So that's our spiel for the beginning about Pathfinder. Let's jump right into that montage at the beginning where I'm just going to sort of describe what happened. So you all met with the royal family. There are 4 of them there. There's the king, who is ostensibly in control of the city, but honestly, he's more of a public figurehead. And his wife is the one who makes all of the decisions and actually knows how to govern the country. With their children, it's a little bit flipped between those 2 roles. Their son, Prince Kalupi, takes a little bit after his mother in that he is a very careful planner. He's the one who found a map from Poppy, the legendary founder of Rumplank, hidden in the archives that no one had noticed for over a century. And so he tried to get together this team of heroes that was going to find the other half. Now, his sister, Princess Atriella, is far more popular because she's just kind of a happy-go-lucky swashbucklery type who reminds people of Poppy, who herself was a pirate. And she suggested that, that thief who we found skulking around for the map seems really invested with Poppy. So why not let that seaweed leshy help out on the quest to find the map? And her brother was like maybe not thrilled by that plan, given that who knows if the leshy's just going to steal both halves of the map at the end. But people decided to go along with it. So you had a discussion. There was a lot of information given about the map that we're not going to go deeply into, but that would be important for the later portions of the story after what we're doing today. They suggested multiple places that you could go to learn more about the map's magic or potential curses on the map that might be around that you're not going to go to today because you wanted to find the map first. And so eventually your team decided to head to a tavern called the Gutted Snake, one of the worst taverns in the entire city of Rumplank. Now, Rumplank is the city of festivals. It's the city of colors. Has a lot of taverns, many of them good, others of them terrible. And the Gutted Snake is perhaps the worst of all of those taverns. But there were some rumors that there was a person at the Gutted Snake named Demarty Tixima who was talking about having found something related to the map. And that seemed like one of the most credible leads to follow out of all the ones that you received from the royal family. And so as you were headed to the Gutted Snake, you left the Rosewater district, which is sort of the posh district that's right around the palace, and headed down to the Claw Quarter of Rumplank. As you were doing so, it's probably not a huge surprise for anyone who's ever been in Rumplank, and especially for all of you, that there is a festival today. In fact, most days have some kind of festival being celebrated somewhere or in some quarter of Rumplank. And in this particular festival, there is a heck of a lot of glitter. So I will read from the festival description. Bits of confetti and glitter waft on the breeze, sticking to your clothes and clouding your vision before the merrymakers responsible for the mess appear from around a corner. Dozens of Rumplankers dance, sing, and laugh as they march down the street, oblivious to their surroundings. It's impossible not to get swept up in the revelers' good cheer or their quickening pace. So I want to know, when you're about to get swept up by a crowd, generally, what are you going to try to do? Are you going to try to stand your ground and not get pulled into the crowd? Or are you going to try to keep up with the parade? If you stand your ground, I'm going to ask for either a fortitude save or an athletics check from you. Those should be on your sheets. If you want to just kind of keep up with the parade's pace and not get swept away by it, that would be a reflex save or a performance check. And if you have party lore, due to be taking the party background from the Indigo Isles guide, then you can roll one of those as well, and the difficulty is much lower.
What if you want to actively join in and kind of get yourself swept away?
So that would be, to join in would be reflex or performance. That's why performance is kind of in there.
I'll risk.
said
Zarpax will risk a performance.
All right. And if you do not have performance, but your charisma is very high, you can roll your charisma for that. That's an untrained performance. In almost all cases, your reflex save will be better than your untrained performance. You would have to be very, very, very bad at reflex for that to be different. And I think Anto is the exception that proves the rule.
But still, only a total of 12.
Only a total of 12. Okay. So, Zarprax is swept up by the crowd. So, I'll ask the rest of you to roll that as well.
My reflex was a 9 total.
9 total. Okay, well, you were also swept up by the crowd, but nobody's critically failed yet.
True. I imagine Manny seeing what is happening, and he sees like a bunch of kids kind of like linking arms and like kind of going through, and he goes straight for that one and just grabs two hands and lets himself kind of get carried away by all these kids. That's a natural 20 with a 22 total.
Whoa. Okay, that's a critical success. So I'm going to say that you not only succeeded, but you can pick your favorite of these new allies that you just met in order to kind of protect them from getting too swept up or buffeted. But so pick who is going to be safe other than you.
Other than me with like the immediate group.
One of your group members is going to be safe thanks to you just doing so well that
Yeah.
you actually managed to barricade off one of your allies.
I'll grab one kid at the end and go, yes, you guys are my new friends. And I reach back to what I thought was another kid, but it's just a short, sudden kelp. And I grab him and swing him along with me.
So Manny and Sudden Kelp, you are all safe. The rest of you,
I was going to say, if it's possible to move that to somebody else, because I rolled Sudden Kelp is so small and squanchy and quick that they're very used to doing this kind of stuff. I rolled a 24 on reflex.
Oh, well, you succeeded anyway. You didn't critically succeed. So yeah, pick someone who failed to protect. Anybody other than Sudden Kelp.
I reach my hand behind me. Who's grabbing it?
Me.
Great.
All right, so Laru.
the bunny.
Are you tall?
I'm pretty tall. I'm like 6'5".
Okay, I'm tiny. I'm gonna just kind of pop up and kind of piggyback on you so I can see more of the revelry.
Heck yeah.
So the bunny piggyback on you, and Laru has a tiny little dream rabbit familiar that is so there's a bunny on a coral.
On a piece of coral.
Who also has like a electric jellyfish. I'm assuming you keep away from the
I kind of maneuver her so that she's not on my electric bits.
I do think about touching it really quickly, but stop.
Because you have to make sure you're over the clothing, because literally a creature that grapples or makes an unarmed attack against Manny takes 1 electric damage each time. So all right.
I will also say for Ahoy, he joins in with the revelry as well. I did get a natural 20 for a total of 29.
Oh, okay.
So I imagine he's clapping and jumping. He's like, these people definitely are on something, and he's looking for whatever that something is.
Well then, you're able to pull Zarpax with you, and I think that means everybody was safe. If you had failed, harmless glitter would have been spilled all over your clothes, and you would have also taken a little bit of non-lethal bludgeoning damage. If you critically failed, glitter would have gotten in your eyes as well. So just be happy that you guys did really well with this. And you're not covered. Nobody is covered in glitter, surprisingly enough.
You say that like it's a good thing.
I know.
But I'm not sure that it is.
I mean, if anybody wants to just have some glitter but not take any damage, let me know.
I'll reach down, do a scoop.
Myself as glitter.
Put your hands up if you took some glitter and joined in a little bit. Okay. So, let it be known that was Anta and Steph. So, Zarpax and Laru. All right. The Glitterfest revelers continue their boisterous revelry down a merchant street. By the time an elderly Tug monger notices the commotion, it's too late. Her cart is upset by the chaos, and dozens of Tugs spring free from their cages, entranced by the glitter and licking their lips in anticipation of the sparkly treat. Dozens of hungry Tugs hop toward the parade in ravenous excitement. So, let me show you a picture of a single Tug. This is a swarm of Tugs. Tugs are kind of a friendly little, usually, although these ones want to eat glitter, and so they're probably going to swarm all over you to get to it. They're a friendly little frog critter that are cunning, kind of chubby little frogs, and they are often kept as pets because of the fact that they have a little inkwell in their head, and you can use that to get high quality ink. And they also sometimes take care of pests. Some people like to eat them as well. And so they're just kind of funny little frogs. But when you have a whole spill of them, which is what a large group of them, that's the group name for Tugs is called, then it can actually be a little bit dangerous. And here we have a spill. They don't mean any harm, but they're going to come to eat the glitter. And Zarpax and Laru, that means you. So I'd like everyone.
Consequences.
I'd like everyone to roll for initiative here, whether you're planning on attacking these Tugs or trying to calm them down or get them away. We'll do it in encounter mode and initiative order. But In Pathfinder Second Edition, you don't roll a stat called initiative. Instead, you roll something depending on what you were doing before you went into initiative. Perception is always allowed. If you were specifically sneaking and skulking about, stealth is allowed. And in particular, our sniper has benefits in an encounter when he was rolling stealth. That was not happening here. People were partying. So, or at least trying to get away from the party. So, ironically, that means that you can roll athletics if you were using athletics to try to keep out of the crowd, or you can roll performance if you were going along with the crowd, if you want to, or perception because you noticed the tug spilling out before anybody else did.
Okay.
I have a
Total
19.
of 8. Go on, Steph.
All right, I will put the initiative down in my list of things. So we have Leru is 19. We have Zarpax is 8. You said
18.
18. Oh, that's much better than 8. Okay,
I got the 8.
5.
25. Awesome. So 25 for Sudden Kelp.
I'm getting very worried because I'm not used to rolling this well. So
Then we've got the 8 for Manny. And who do we not have?
Ahoy.
Ahoy.
Ahoy got a 24.
Oh, so excellent, but not quite at the 25 level. All right. So now the question becomes, did the tugs go first? And they could have gone first, but they did not. So the one who reacts fastest to the tugs spilling out before any sort of combat or anybody takes damage from them swarming all over you and scraping you to get the glitter is going to be Sudden Kelp.
I feel they don't look like overly hostile. They're just trying to eat glitter that happens to be on our friends, right?
That's correct, but your knowledge of tugs from dealing with them before is that when there's in a spill like this, they're not very discerning. So when they eat the glitter, it's probably going to cause like a little bit of damage each time until and this could actually potentially be very dangerous to your friends first because they got the extra glitter on them, but then possibly to some of the randos who are in the area after that. If you don't like distract the tugs, calm them down, try to get them back in their little pen, something like that. So this definitely could be a threat. You also have the sense that with all 5 of you here, the actual chance of losing to a spill of tugs is pretty low.
More about just trying to strike a balance. So,
right.
You gave me an idea. Is there like from where all of this glitter is coming from? Is there like a satchel of it? Is there like a bag in like this parade of stuff that like
there's a whole bunch
glitter?
of people with glitter, but some of them do have big satchels that you could get to.
Can I yoink one of them? And
yes,
assuming I can, then just like make this big cloud of glitter closer to the tugs that is like, here's the bigger catch, quick, run away.
You can do that. What I'm going to need from you though is either a thievery to just kind of steal the glitter from the person, or something like a diplomacy or deception to try to like convince them that they should just let you take it, because otherwise they don't know why you're trying to take the bag from them. And this is when you get to raise an eyebrow at me when I said I couldn't think of a way that you would necessarily be able to use pickpocket during this adventure when you were asking about it, because you absolutely would have been able to. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, this is perfect. As actually, like, thievery is one better for me than diplomacy, but diplomacy lets me use my Leshy ancestry feat, which is called Harmlessly Cute, which means I have the Shameless Request feat, so I can just be a weird little guy and make bizarre requests of people, and it comes off like totally fine. So I'm going to try diplomacy. I'm just gonna like right up to one of these people with like the big satchels and be like, bigger party needs over there. I need one of those bigger party.
All right. Well, that is pretty shapeless, since this is this lady's glitter. But thanks to your Shameless Request feat, you take no increased difficulty from that. So just go ahead and roll your diplomacy check.
I love this so much. Oh no! I really want this to work, so I'm gonna spend my hero point. Haha!
Okay.
Because that was a 5, and A 6, so 12.
Well, you know what? This is a party, so I was gonna say it was DC 12 or like a kind of a level 0 kind of difficulty because they're a low level person. I was then gonna raise the difficulty for the shamelessness of making you give them the glitter, but then I removed it because of your shameless request. So you made it just barely with a
I'm
6.
just a weird little guy.
They're like, yeah, sure, give it back when you're done. She says.
Okay.
I just didn't know what to do with herself. I was like, okay.
And
All
I'm
right.
just gonna run over next to the. If I have actions left, I'm gonna run over next to the Toog spill, and just like and try and make it just this big like glitter bomb right next to them.
So you were going along with the flow. So you were near this lady to begin with. So you were able to call out to her. That is one action, and you grabbed the bag as another. And you said at first you were going to toss it to make the explosion. I think that's what you're going to have to do because you don't quite have enough actions left to both move up to them and then just drop it.
I'll have to throw it from here. Okay.
Yeah, so give me a ranged attack roll, which would just generally be at +7 for you with your dexterity, just to make sure, because this bag is not, like, built for being thrown angrily. Normally, it's very easy for someone like you to hit a target as big as generally near to the tuk-tuk, but away from the crowd. But let's see how it goes with this non-aerodynamic bag.
It's just launching this oddly
Straight
shaped
into the
satchel.
crowd.
Here we go. It's just gonna go on me.
If you roll a 1, it will.
I rolled a 13, so +7 for a dirty 20.
Hey.
Yeah, that does exactly what you wanted it to. So
Yes.
it was a critical success. It was not at all a difficult check to make an attack roll to just hit like a square. So you critically succeeded. It creates a cloud of glitter, and it does. The two dudes do seem distracted. Assuming that nobody else gets their attention, they're probably going to spend a little bit of time going up to that and eating the glitter that's in the air. That probably means they might not have enough actions left to attack anyone this turn unless somebody like goes into their swarm or into the cloud of glitter you made. So that was a highly effective distraction.
Hooray!
All right, so Ahoy is next.
Ahoy, upon noticing everything going on, is just going to look around and then kind of shout out to the crowd. He's going to go, "Toog Toog Stampede!"
All right.
And hoping to incite a little chaos, just so he can kind of just slyly just grab one and pocket it into his tunic.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. So in that case, if you want to incite fear into the crowd, that is intimidation. If you'd rather just make a diversion by like kind of deceiving people into paying more attention to the tuk-tuks so that they're not watching you, and that's the main thing you're actually trying to do, that would be a deception.
That is a 12.
So most of these revelers are kind of drunk and also very distracted by both the party, the glitter that may be dazzling their eyes, and a tuk-tuk swarm. So I'm going to say that they mostly are distracted by this. There's maybe a few of them who are like higher level with it who weren't distracted by that, but you've distracted the vast majority of these revelers.
Perfect. And then I'm just going to look for the closest one and just grab it and put it in my tunic if I can.
Okay, so just to be clear, you're going to move up to be right next to where the swarm is and the distraction thing is, and then reach in to grab one of the tuk-tuks. It is possible to pull one out of the swarm, no doubt. But that will place you right next to the tuk-tuk swarm. And right now, you're at a safe distance.
I will risk it because I really want one of them.
Got it. Okay, excellent. So in that case, what I'd like you to do is roll me an athletics check.
Sure.
It'll just be strength.
That'll be a 20.
Oh, yeah, more than enough for a single tuk-tuk. So, yeah, you did it. You grabbed this tuk-tuk. It really wants some of the glitter, though, and you're kind of grabbing it away from the glitter, so it's kind of like a little bit woefully looking towards the glitter that you're taking it away from, but you have managed to wrest it out of there, and the rest of the swarm is nearby, hearing it as it kind of makes a little sound, like mournfully towards the rest of the tuk-tuks. Some of them are looking towards you now. Most of them are still distracted by the glitter cloud. So next up is the tuk-tuk spell. So what they're going to do is they swarm around. They can reshape their squares to go somewhere. So Most of them move over into the glitter cloud that was created by Sudden Kelp. But there's one last square that's sticking out that kind of goes back to like try to save the Tuk who had been taken by Ahoy. But they can't kind of do that right away because they were too distracted by the glitter. So what happens is that they first move out and eat some of the glitter, and then the last square moves over onto you, and they look like they are going to swarm over you and kind of scrape into you a little bit because they're trying to lick the glitter off with their kind of rough tongue. And the main thing that really hurts you is that they have little heel spurs, so when they're crawling over you to get to the glitter, it can kind of like stab you a little bit. So I need you to make a reflex save to see how well you're able to avoid that.
Sounds like my
And that's
cat
for me.
trying to eat what I'm eating.
Oh, 11.
Okay.
Oh, wait, sorry. No, 14. My bad.
Add your reflex. Yeah. Okay, 14. So either 11 or 14 would be a regular failure. So you do take a little bit of damage, and you are dazzled by obscuring ink. I will take that into account for you if it comes up. But basically, your vision is kind of blocked out with ink a little bit. You will need to spend 2 actions at some point in time to wipe it off of your face. Until then, you basically have a 20% miss chance with certain things. You took 2 damage as well.
2 damage, okay.
And that's it for the Tuk-Tuks. So next, Leru. What are you going to do? These Tuk-Tuks are all worked up in a tizzy.
So, question. How does my rabbit familiar fly? Do they have wings? Like little, like, cute fairy wings or something, by any chance?
They do, because they have whatever you dream them to do. Each day, your rabbit can gain 2 special abilities from a list of options, of which I chose for you some default ones so you didn't have to, and one of them was wings. So I wanted to know how you dreamed them to fly. It might be different on different days as well. Maybe today it's fairy wings.
Okay, today it's definitely fairy wings. I communicate with Wanda exclusively through like little like rabbit nose movements. I want to get her to try and use her wings to like get the glitter off of us, like kind of like a gust move. Is that something I could do?
Yeah, you could definitely do that.
Does Cosmo have
Okay.
the day off?
There you go. So, yeah, absolutely. So you spend an action, and then Wanda is going to use her 2 actions to remove the glitter. It takes 2 actions generally to remove some of this glitter. And so, yeah, she blows with both of her actions on you, and she gets the glitter off of you. So now Zarprax is going to be the next priority, other than whether or not they decide to go after the glitter with Zarprax or to deal with Ahoy, who's maybe kidnapped one of the Tuk-Tuks. You have 2 actions left because it only took 1 action to command Wanda.
Okay. So the ones that are focusing on Zarprax and the one he stole
It
could
was Ahoy that stole them.
Oh, it was Ahoy, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
I stole them. Being framed for nothing. Could I use my stupefying inception?
So,
Like
you
kind
would-
of on one, how many are going after him?
So you would be able to use your stupefying inception. However, stupefying inception is sort of like a touch range, and you're not right next to them just yet. Now,
Okay.
if you used your cone, you would be able to just chip that area. And so I'm gonna check real fast whether or not your cone ability can ignore allies by default, and then we will determine whether or not that's gonna have some friendly fire if you decide to do it. Now there are 3 other spaces of the swarm that you might be able to hit, but unfortunately the only one that is close enough to your cone to hit it without moving is the one that Ahoy is in, because that's the one that's nearby. Oh, it looks like it is going to only hurt foes, as I thought, because it was mental. You kind of shape it around. You can also choose to make it be either lethal or non-lethal if you don't want to kill them.
I don't want to kill them. Okay, that was going to be one of my questions. Perfect. Yeah, I would like to target one of the ones going after him non-lethally, please.
Yeah, you can use your Adeling Blast for that, just because while your Stupefy Inception is more powerful, it is only one that is in melee reach. Alright, I will roll a will save for the Tug swarm as a whole. They're actually like a entire creature that's a swarm. Just by fate and circumstance of them only being within range of your cone, you kind of lucked out. Area effects like this are extremely good against swarm. All right, so I got a 7 on my will save, and your DC is 17. Oh, you don't even have to roll because I'm rolling a saving throw against it. But here's
for nothing.
no, but here's the great news. Your nat 20, if you were doing the Inception, which would have required that, absolutely a crit, right? My 7 was also a crit for you. Because your DC is 17 and I rolled 10 lower.
Yeah.
So, check your damage on Adeling Blast, whatever it says. Roll that, and then once you've rolled it up, double it.
I think it's Adeling Blast on my sheet is the problem.
Not. It should be on the actions at the bottom. Let me see if I messed up. I did mess up. I did not. I made a mistake. I gave you a 3rd level power instead of. I gave you a 3rd level power instead of Adeling Blast. Okay, so you actually have a power called Adeling Blast. I don't know what happened to it. I think I had 2 copies of this file open. I must have put the Adeling Blast into the other copy that was the old copy. So you have a power called Adeling Blast that does 2d4 plus 1 damage in a cone, and then it debuffs them. And it should say DC 19, or sorry, DC 17 will save. And I gave you a 3rd level power from an old pregen that I was using as the basis for your character by mistake.
That is a total of 6.
All right, so we'll double that to 12 damage. As a swarm, they have some resistances to if you just try to stab a swarm, there's 100 of them. What is that going to do? But they're weak to area damage. The weakness to area damage is 3. 12 plus 3 being 15 is exactly their number of hit points, and you took them out with a non-lethal attack. So you non-lethally incapacitated the entire swarm in one go.
Wow.
Those are mind bullets.
So you just sort of shot out a cone of Adeling mental energy, and a weird, colorful dream energy kind of came out of you. And the Tuk spell was defeated. In fact, the Tuk merchant comes over and enthusiastically shakes your hands I can't believe it. You managed to save all of my Tuk when they were going out of control, and they're all safe. Even little Nelly over here is fine. Thank you so much, Tuk merchant.
Holding one of them, kind of looking bewildered, all in our dreams work.
Meanwhile, Manny is completely oblivious to any of what just happened. You can see him over here now playing leapfrog with the kids.
That's right, because you rolled so badly on perception, you didn't even see it because
didn't even know what was happening.
Your allies had dealt with it by then, or taken advantage of it, as the case may be.
Yep.
So, this merchant is going to give you 7 gold pieces as thanks, because at this point he was worried that many or all of his Tutus might have died or been lost during this event, and you saved them all. So you gain 7 gold pieces. In Pathfinder, that's more of a big deal because the basic economy of peasants living in town is on silver instead of gold-based economy. So this is a very bad way to do the math at later levels and does not work. But at early levels, it might give you a sense if I said it was getting 70 gold pieces in D&D. Do not do this at home for the way the late levels scale.
I do one of the coins and look kind of disappointed because gold tastes different in the dimension of dream. I was hoping it was a snack.
So you have dealt with the Tugs. The party continues onward, and you're easily able to make it to the Gutted Snake Tavern without any further ado beyond the issues that you found with the tuk-tuks. So the Gutted Snake Tavern is in the Claw Quarter, which is definitely the bad part of town. As you enter the tavern, you realize that the rumors of it being a really bad tavern are true, although it is supposedly a hotbed for gossip and news, and a great place to find, those typical cloaked figures who, send you off on an adventure or something like that. Sticky wooden floors, sour grog, and dirty glassware, and ill-tempered drinkers all greet you as you enter this dimly lit establishment.
Are there any bugs around?
Yes.
You see that Ahoy just very slyly takes out the tuk-tuk and allows it to feed every so often before putting it back inside.
It eats up one of the bugs.
He's like, there you go.
Can I ask a clarifying question? The festival, the Glitter Festival, what was it in dedication to?
Oh, well, that's a good question. Do you want to roll a recall knowledge? Party
Yes,
lore.
please.
Party lore would be a very specifically good one, but if you have society, you can definitely roll it on that as well, and you can propose something else.
I don't have party lore. I'm not trained in society. Would I be able to? Would I know whether it's got any occult or religious significances? Specifically, I want to try and take some of the glitter and add it to my esoterica in case we come across something that it's useful for.
Yes, I will roll for that. Your secret check for the recall knowledge. What is your bonus on whichever of those you would like to roll?
Occultism is +4.
All right. I will roll secretly and tell you, and you're a thaumaturge, so you have dubious knowledge. Basically, what you know about this glitter festival is that it is a remembrance of two things. One of them was time that a group of Thialodon tie-dyers accidentally dropped a whole bunch of colorful Thialodon ink into the river, and so it was very, very colorful, and people kind of made a color festival. But after that, it sort of changed over the years, especially since Thialodon ink is expensive, into a glitter festival, partially due to lobbying from a merchant who had accidentally bought way too much glitter from a Seaview shop, more than they could unload, because they had a sort of a second person to take the glitter from them on the other side of the deal, and that person dropped out, and they were left with a large amount of glitter, so they started trying to be glitter is a very good way to express our appreciation of these colors, and over time, many people have forgotten the original origin.
But not you.
Perfect. I will put some of that glitter into a vial and add it to my bag of esoterica.
Wow.
All right. Here in the Gutted Snake, there's all these ne'er-do-wells, and there is the barkeep, who's known as Molo Makesick Dogador, who is very surly looking and does not seem very happy to see this weird group of new people that have come into his bar. But one person here stands out as matching the description you had heard of the sort of feckless adventurer who had been talking about the map here in the bar. And I will show you a picture of this person so that you can tell me if you also agreed that this person seems like some kind of feckless adventurer.
Yes.
Incredible.
Cute.
She looks overworked, not feckless.
Fair enough.
Ahoy kind of
On my back.
wraps his arms. He wraps his arms around the group. He goes, "All right, I think I see DeMarty over there, or it's a mule that has been changed into one of my kind. It's one of those two."
You can do that here too? You can change people into mules?
Not willingly.
Frequently.
And they do get better.
Okay.
I've never been a mule before. What does that feel like?
Try it. It's exciting, exhilarating, fun. As long as nothing tries to eat you.
Can you change me into a mule?
Don't make a deal with the Fae.
Wiggle my fingers.
Oh.
Take several steps back.
Slowly reach his hand into esoterica bag.
I think I feel it. I think I feel it.
It's worked the same here. But
Oh.
But that's okay.
My guess.
Looks
Oh
mullish
dear,
to
oh
me.
dear, oh dear, oh dear, says DeMarty as DeMarty is like rearranging all these like countless bags and packs on their back. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
And we're supposed to be figuring out the location of this map from him, correct?
You've heard that DeMarty know something about the map, or at least has been talking about it all throughout the tavern.
Should we just ask him?
I can
Seems the most
Doc him.
forward route. You could what?
I can thock him.
Oh,
Make him tell us.
I would love to see this.
I agree. You go and suck.
I can thock.
Well,
I can thock him.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Are you saying sock? Sock?
No,
Suck
no.
or shock?
Thock.
Ah,
All of them.
Thock. I can thock him.
there were 4 options. That's the most dangerous one.
She gets up and just turns around, and as he turns around, you actually see his ponytail like kind of come undone, and just kind of locks of these sea anemones flurl around, and he looks like a different person, and he just kind of waltzes up to the table and sits down and looks over and goes, "Hey, we need a map."
A map?
Yes.
What? Oh, which map in particular? Is it Poppy's map?
I look back at the group.
Feathery funds.
Yes.
Can I have sneaked up behind DeMartin?
Yeah, you can sneak up behind DeMarty. They are not they're kind of oblivious. They're not very perceptive of the situation. You can roll a stealth and see overall how many people have seen you in the tavern.
I got a 16 for stealth. And it's
Okay,
mostly
so
because I want to, when he says Poppy's map and you look a little confused, my head just pops out from the side like, yeah.
So DeMarty definitely didn't notice you. Anybody in the group who has +7 or better on their perception did notice, but anyone with 6 or lower on their perception did not. When you say yes to Poppy's map, DeMarty's expression kind of lights up. Oh, feathers, yes, I know all about the Gilded Pirate. Her duel against the devious Amber Dragon Helexes, the way she steered her ship, the Chromatic Queen, through the eye of a hurricane to win the Navala Regatta, not to mention all the exploits of her fabulous comrades, the Fortunate Four. Anyway, yes, I do know a bit about Poppy von Barnacle. I did find what I believe to be half a map to her fabled lost treasure, if you can believe it. If you do, of course, but believe me, it's true. I did.
Yes, we need that map, or I will be forced to shock you.
He means please, or he'll shock you.
Shock me if I don't have the map. But I don't have the map.
Then you will, and he stands up, tell us where it is. And he kind of looks off in the distance.
DeMarty's expression becomes crestfallen.
Please.
Alas, it was stolen. It was stolen. In my excitement at finding such an important relic, I may have shared my discovery a bit too loudly in the wrong part of town. Specifically, this very establishment. DeMarty leans in and lowers their voice to a whisper. Oh. Between us, I think it was some of Melaran Khan's goons at the Iron Eels. They clear their throat and speak at a normal volume again. But you'd never catch me saying as much. Even I know sometimes when it's a good idea to be quiet. At the end of their tale, DeMarty releases a big sigh and takes a gulp from their pint of watered-down ale. Anyway, they say, the map's probably cursed, you know. Poppy was a real trickster, that she was. Even if you manage to find my piece of the map and put the parchment back together, she'll likely have some nasty surprises in store for you. If that's the case, you should go to Jacopo Town, where her Poppy's wizard friend Arahasko the Red was from. Maybe the people there can help you undo any such curse. DeMarty's voice slowly fades off as they stare into the distance. At least, that was what I was gonna do. They quickly snap back to their jolly self. Why do I bring all this up, you ask? Fair warning, I guess. DeMarty takes another gulp of ale, disappointed that it's you who's going to be able to go on this grand adventure and not DeMarty themselves.
Don't worry, little DeMarty. We will deal with curse, and maybe keep beak closed.
I fear no curses. We will go and find this map. And he turns around and goes back to the table where he originated.
Now, this Melaran, What can you tell us about them and their goons?
Melaran Khan, be a little quieter. Melaran Khan is the leader of the pirate gang known as the Iron Eels. And his base is nearby. Pretty famous area. You might have heard about it.
Can you make map for us for Iron Eel base?
Yes, I can. Demarty tries to rearrange some of their pack and is desperately failing on getting everything to fit into the right place. Try to get out what is needed to make a map. You're gonna go here and the parchment there
Just
and
slide some parchment and a piece of chalk across the table.
oh, well that's easier. And Demarty will draw you a quick map to the Iron Eels headquarters. You can see it's here. It's on the docks.
Thank you for your help. Better luck next time.
Yeah, thanks. I'll make my next foray into the jungle outlands and become a famous adventurer and travel guide. But once I rearrange my pack, I guess.
Zarpax will rummage in his coin purse and put 5 silver down on the table and be like, for next adventure.
I thank you. And good luck with the map.
Right here. Don't eat that.
Okay. Says the Bardia.
You should travel lighter.
Do you think you could help me with this, maybe? If you know, it seems like you know your way around a backpack.
I can take that. I'll just point at something that I think is useful.
It's like, if you know a better way to arrange this stuff so it's easier to carry, so you could either, you could attempt to make an athletics check to just stuff things in really forcefully, or use survival to use knowledge of how to pack things correctly to help Demarty know what they actually need to bring and where to put it.
Okay.
If anybody in the party has one of those, or both.
I have survival. I can try that.
Give it a shot.
22.
That's a more than successful enough. Demarty repacks the backpack with only what is needed. And it's like, oh wow, this is so much better. Okay, I don't need all of this stuff. Here, which of the you can take 2 of these since I apparently did not need them to go into the jungle with 0 firearms or snares. Between a disguise kit, a repair kit, a climbing kit, a firearm cleaning kit, healer's tools, and a snare kit. Pick any 2 and they're yours as thanks for rearranging this.
This is some good stuff. Does anyone have medicine that doesn't have a healer's kit already?
I think I gave a healer's tools to everyone that I built for you and gave you medicine. But I didn't give a firearm cleaning kit to the gunslinger, really. I
was about to say, that one jumps out potentially for gunslinger friend.
I would love that, if possible.
All right, so you can grab that. Does anyone want a disguise kit who has deception that could help you make disguises?
Chichori could probably maybe do that.
All right, so you can grab the disguise kit and the firearm cleaning kit.
Cool.
And Demarty says, by the way, I could come with you. I mean, then we both be following the map, or all 6. You don't say both within 6 people. We would all be following the map.
Can I put my arm on his shoulder and just look at him, and I just want to say, you're a nice kid, but you're going to die young. And the sooner that you accept that, and then I turn and walk away.
Demarty has a little crestfallen look as you walk away and head to the Iron Eels base.
you pass Manny, and he's kind of he went back to the table. He's kind of twiddling his fingers. He's like, I left prematurely. I didn't know what to do. I'm just waiting for all of you guys.
Just want to pat him before.
I'm gonna offer him a fist bump. Stick to your strengths.
All right, you have a little map to the Iron Eels base, and you know where to find them.
I'll put my hair back in the ponytail, and it's like, it's good. He'll never recognize me again.
You're master of disguise.
Disguise kit? Who?
Do we know much about the Iron Eels?
You might know about the Iron Eels. Do you have a Rumplank lore, sailing lore, or society?
I've got society.
Tell me your modifier. I'll roll you a secret society check. Not to be confused with a secret society.
A secret society.
Check.
Society.
Yeah.
Check.
Yes. Yes.
+3 for society.
Okay. So you actually know quite a bit about that. Potentially because you know about criminal groups as a whole. I guess underworld lore might have worked as well. So you know that they're one of the more successful and despicable pirate gangs. Their leader, Melaran Khan, is a cruel and calculating captain who encourages his subordinates to commit petty crimes all around Runplank whenever they're ashore. Thankfully, the Iron Eels spend much of their time plying the Indigo Isles aboard a terrifying white sloop called the Sharpened Bone, anchored in the Claw Quarter in the spot that DeMarty told you about. You also know that while at Port of Runplank, the Iron Eels operate out of an abandoned rum distillery, which they've converted into their infamous hideout. The gang's name comes from Melaran Khan's weapon of choice, a horrifying instrument of pain made from the skeleton of a giant eel, whose pointy bones have been painstakingly cast in iron, threaded together with an iron chain.
Jeez.
Oh.
Dude's metal.
As we get closer, could I have Wanda maybe like kind of fly and do some recon and see what kind of little groups gatherings of people might be around?
Yeah, absolutely. You can have Wanda just kind of fly around and see what's going around. Let me ask you something. I think it says in your little action for Wanda what Wanda's stealth is. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So give me a stealth for Wanda just to see how well she was hiding, and I will roll secretly a perception to see how well she found things.
Okay, can I use my hero point to re-roll?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can use that for Wanda.
Sorry,
She's
guys,
your
I'm
buddy.
bad roll. Yay, okay, better. That's an 18 total.
All right. So she's not noticed as she's scouting around, looking for groups, and even is able to see the outside of this rum distillery and like in through some of the windows with a very good perception check on my end. If it was low, I might not have said anything and just be like, "Oh, there's nothing here." But it was quite high. So you're able to figure out basically the entire layout of this place from the outside because it's very three-dimensional. And there's not like a lot of interior rooms. It's just kind of all moving up. So let me just give you a floor plan of the map that your familiar is able to sort of like describe to you.
Through nose wiggles only.
Through nose wiggles.
The most intricate nose wiggles.
Thieves can't.
So if you look here, there's a plank that kind of leads up to the first floor. And in the back, there's a little dock where they have boats that you can see back there. That's across the water. There's several rooms, all of which have windows here, and stairs leading up to a second floor. Now, that second floor was very obvious to Wanda, except for, the room she had to look into the windows, but that brown at the outside of the second floor is like a balcony. There's a scout who's going around there and might have seen Wanda, except was apparently distracted by her pet mouse. And so was not paying a lot of attention. And the third floor also has a balcony outside the single room, which is, you can see labeled here, the balcony is A12 and the single room is A11, where the stairs come up. And then there's like sort of a top, almost crow's nesty, except it's not a ship area that sort of comes out of the top of the third floor up into like a very narrow area that is on the roof.
So how many guards are within sight?
Wanda didn't have a full view from where all the windows are into all of the interior rooms, but she was able to easily see that where the guards are that are outside. So the guards that are outside, there's the one guard on the veranda who has the little mouse. Then on the upper balcony, there's two guards on floor 3 that are in that upper balcony outside of the single room on floor 3. And then there are also two guards at the gangplank who might be potentially ready to like pull the gangplank away if you try to approach. Those are all the ones who are outside. Right now, at this time, there are no guards at that dock where the boats are, at least that Wanda saw.
Are there any locations on the outside where you can get a view of most of the guards that are outside? Like a single point?
So if you come from the front, then the guards who are on the guards who are on the gangplank will be able to see it. But the other guards don't have a perspective to look on there. They kind of rely on the guards of the gangplank to shout out to them in order to figure out if they're intruders. The ones in the upper level, the one on floor 2 is patrolling around in a circle, so there are some times when she would be able to see there. And the ones who are on floor 3 do not have sight of that, but they do potentially have the ability to see the docks if someone was doing something very blatant there. They're some of the only ones who would be able to notice that.
So more specifically, is there a place that I could set up with my sniper to have a good view on most of the outside guards?
If you moved to a building that's not on this map and climbed up onto its roof, because you would be at a higher up point, you would be able to see the guards who are on the gangplank. You would be able to see the guards who are on the upper balcony on the 3rd floor, just barely. And you would sometimes, but usually not, be able to see the one who's patrolling around in a circle on the 2nd floor.
I'll relay that to the group and just say, if it comes down to it, I could get some good shots off and clear them from the outside before we move in.
Just double checking. We're okay with the stabby stab, shooty shoot.
I might be
It's
able
my
to
favorite thing.
shoot one from afar as well.
I'm okay with this stabby stab, shooty shoot. Yes.
How is everybody sneaky wise? Do we want to try and get in quietly?
We could do that.
Some
I've been
people
known to
have
sneak.
big sense of imagination anyway. I don't think everyone always notices me. It happens.
I've been told I'm a loud person.
And as you can see on this map, there is a back door that is going to go into area A3, but of course getting there requires a large amount of water. And then A1 is that gangplank that would lead to the front door right away.
How's everyone feel about swimming?
I'm fine to be wet.
Yes.
I don't think dreams disappear in the water. I think we're good.
Dreams are not water soluble.
Okay.
They sit on top like oil.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going down the water direction.
Mm-hmm.
It is Kraken week after all.
Got to.
Go around to the back dock and then
That sounds
sneak
more
in.
obvious.
Just avoid the guards.
Looks to me.
So the water here is a bit choppy, so I will need athletics to do so, except Manny, you're a Chochori. This water is nothing for an aquatic or amphibious creature, so you do not need to roll athletics. You have a swim speed.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody who does not have a swim speed is going to need to give me athletics. Also, Manny, since you have a swim speed and very good athletics, you could roll athletics anyway to try to help someone else out if you want.
I can help somebody else? Or
Yeah, if you want to roll athletics anyway, even though you don't have to, you could use it to help someone else out by using your athletics to try to, like...
Because
help
how
them
does it work if you don't have athletics
Yeah.
again?
You just use that strength modifier there.
Okay,
Well,
good.
in my experience, bunnies can't swim that well. So I helped her out once. I'm going to help her again. So I'll roll in athletics. That's actually a bad roll. 14.
Mine was a 30.
Okay. So, working together, you're able to get the bunny through. What about everyone else's athletics to see how well you swim?
Got 20 total.
That's perfectly good. You're easily able to swim there.
16 for me.
That's enough.
And being seaweed leshy, I have a swim speed.
You also have a swim speed. That's absolutely right. So yeah, with 2 aquatic characters, one of whom is big and strong and grabs the rabbit, wouldn't have made it otherwise without the 2 of them kind of teaming up. You're able to do that. You submerge yourself a little bit so that when you get to the point where it would be really easy for some of the upper floor observers to notice you, that they might not be able to see you as well. And I checked out their perception, and it looks like you were not noticed coming into the back. So it looks like you're going to be able to safely get to that back door. Now,
As we're
whether
coming up
it's
to the-
locked or not, you're not sure.
As we are approaching, I'd like to unsling my rifle, or my arquebus, just so I have it on hand.
I'm sure that you, like, completely wrapped it up in a waterproof container before going into the water because...
I just held it up.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Doggy
So
paddled.
You were just hoping that the guards who were like up there didn't notice like everyone else was underwater, but there's this one arquebus just kind of floating above the water
Just
level.
bobbing.
Arquebus.
And we are expecting to do stabbies, yes.
I think
Good.
so.
In that case, Zarprax will use change shape and change from being the black bird folk back into the dragon.
This is
So
the first all of
reform.
you saw that Zaraprax could turn into a dragon.
Hey, what the hell?
Reforms into dragon wearing like a brass chest plate with a weird like draconic emblem on it.
I
Yes.
thought Manny was the only shapeshifter in here.
Oh, some
I know.
shapeshifters do not like to advertise. Helps us to shapeshift.
Can you be a mule?
No.
Oh.
I'm so confused.
So, here's what I'd like to know. First of all, it sounds like you're all sneaking around and avoiding notice here to try to make sure those guards who kind of don't have a great view of this spot, but could theoretically see it, don't notice people flagrantly not sneaking it in the area. So that's good enough for me to figure out what's going on in the exploration. One thing that's good is that Sudden Kelp, you're able to notice that the door does not appear to be locked. Because I'm assuming you check the door to see if it's locked in advance, so you don't have to spend a lot of time like jimmying with it if it was. It also doesn't appear to be trapped as far as you can tell, because there's no reason not to check for one since you're going into a secret base.
I was going full thief mode. Sudden Kelp's in their element.
Strange.
So what I'd like to know is who is opening the door in case there's somebody in there. There was no one that the window was showing, but there's a large section of that room that is not visible by the window due to the fact that there are actually like barrels and crates blocking some of the windows, even a lot of the area.
If it's possible to open it like slowly and sneakily, I'm down to be the first one through.
Yeah, you can try.
Take a
You can
little
try.
peek in there.
So I just want to know who's in the front, because in case there is an encounter, that's
Sure.
who's in the front and is closest to getting into the action.
I'll
All right.
stay close to the front.
All right, sure enough.
I'll post up in
Same.
the back just in case anything comes out so I can shoot it.
That makes sense. All right. So you open the door, and indeed, there is one of the Iron Eel's members in this room.
Know it.
So, while I read the description of the room, just to save some time, you can be rolling your choice of perception or stealth for initiative. And the sniper, if you roll stealth for this, you get a special benefit. So I recommend it. All right, so here's what happens in this room. The powerful scent of seafood and aromatics wafts through this oily kitchen. A creamy gumbo simmers away on top of a small black wood stove. The various ingredients for which, onions, garlic, carrots, and an inexplicable hunk of greenish ore lie scattered about the counters and chopping blocks. The windows to the north overlook the azure waters of Barnacle Bay. From the other side of the windows can be heard the gentle knocking of dinghies bumping against a wooden dock. And in this room is a chef. It's an Orpak chef. He is a member of the Iron Eels, but also one who loves cooking. I will show you a picture of him because he at first doesn't notice it as you open the door, but then he probably eventually does. We'll see based on everybody's initiative whether that's true or not. If everybody in the whole team rolls stealth and everybody in the whole team rolls high, he actually will not notice that you're there at all at first. But then probably immediately will when you stab him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 16 for initiative with stealth, and I did want to say that as I was opening the door, I wanted to go ahead and get my main gouge out already.
Absolutely,
so
you would have had time to do that. 100%. Anybody else?
I got 15 on stealth.
All right, 15 on stealth. All right.
I got a 13.
A 13 for Ahoy. Is that on stealth?
That's on stealth.
All right.
I've a 22 on stealth.
Oh, okay. And Manny?
I got a 12. I mean, I figured if this door is unlocked and no traps, I'm like, traps further in. Like, this is the trap. So I put up my shield. Doosh. I have a big old coral shield that I pull around, made of this elaborate material, and just chunk it down to the ground right in front of me.
So, It doesn't really matter that much because of the fact that one of you is going to act, but I will let you know that Laro, he did not know you were there. You completely sneaked up on him.
Nice.
I guess it will matter if I win initiative. I should roll it. I just totally didn't do it. If I win initiative, I don't know that Laro's there. I only know about the other. I did not. So, Laro, he completely did not know that you were there, but he noticed everybody except you.
Open the door, Risey's turning around. Hey!
And Laro, you go first. You were able to react first. You slipped into such a dream such that even your other party members kind of didn't notice you were there for a moment. So you see this guy, he's like got this pot, he's stirring, and he doesn't even know that you're there or the door has opened because it's done so quietly at this point in time. And he's clearly one of these Iron Ale pirates.
Could I just kind of like pop up right next to him so that I could kind of get like a better sniff of the food?
Yeah,
And
go
then
for it. If you want to have sneaked up to him, or would you be okay just kind of walking?
stealth. I want it to be stealthily, but not necessarily because I was worried about being stealthy. I'm very excited about the food, but I just want to be like quiet dream state,
Yeah,
like
that makes sense. So you're roughly in a dream state, but you're not like completely trying to be 100% stealthy. And I gave you a picture of the gumbo he's making that you can see here. Now that you've moved up right next to it, and yeah, that's what it is. You have 2 actions left as well, and you're right next to him.
I have no idea what that green stuff is, but that gumbo looks amazing.
It's an ore. Remember I said that weirdly there was an ore that was in it?
Oh yeah.
second action, I want to talk to him and ask him what flavor the ore adds. Why is there rocks in your soup? Do people eat rocks here too?
He says, well, that's a really good question that a lot of people ask. So Yaramite shavings are a key ingredient in gumbo that helps make it magical. What? Wait a minute! You're not supposed to be here!
And I meant to ask this before I did that. It says I have a special ability to adjust and sculpt the mood of others.
Yes.
Could I like try to get him to like bring it back down? Like, we're not scary. I just want to talk to you about your food.
You can. It only subtly adjusts the person's mood, but at this point in time, you had enough actions to do that. It actually takes 2, but just talking to him here, and he likes talking about his food, so it didn't even take an action for him to respond about the food. So, yes, you do. It actually keeps him calm for a moment. He keeps talking through your turn about the food, and he's like explaining about the gumbo for a moment because I rolled a will save on that, and I did not get a 17. It was not obvious that you were hostile. You just seemed interested about the food, and then he kind of like says something like, wait a minute, what about these other guys? What's going on with them? And it delays him a little bit. I'm going to give him a penalty on where he can act because you kind of calmed him down before he can go. So I will move him accordingly. Sudden Kelp, it is your turn.
I'm going to... Man, you made my turn real easy. 'Cause now... I guess I get off guard either way because I'm going before him in combat, right?
Yeah,
So
he was
super
actually going to go
actions.
before you, except
'cause
for
of the
that
penalty.
I moved his initiative down for the calming thing that hit him. So she has given you 2 ways that he's going to be off guard. One from your
Wow.
hidden strike thing,
Mhm.
and 2 because you could theoretically flank because she went right up next to him.
That's what I was gonna say. We get flanking now, so I'll stride with 1 action to just whoop right up to flanking, and then I am going to. Oh, I'm torn. And I'll just go with the main gouge. I've already got that weapon out, so I'll attack with that. And I'll just
Sure
go
thing.
for a little stabby stab. That is going to be a 15 to hit.
Okay, so you rolled a 15 to hit, and let me check his armor class real quick. I think that's going to hit when he is flat, or is off guard, but it definitely is not going to crit. It does hit.
Because he's off guard, I get my sneak attack d6, and then because I'm the thief archetype, I get to add my dex to the damage.
That's right.
here.
So it's probably 1d6 plus 1d4 plus 4.
Yep. Good rolls. That is going to be 12 points of piercing damage.
Ooh, wow. Well, this is a big guy. He's a sturdy Ulfamancer, which is a type of, like, food-based mage. And 12 is not enough to take him down, but he's badly hurt. He's bleeding out of it. He looks with, like, a betrayed look at the Banog who came to talk about the gumbo. And you have 1 action left.
1 action left. And
Wow.
that's not going to be... I don't know if he has AOs. I kind of want to get away, but instead I will just post up in case it helps my allies, and I will do... The main gouge has a parry trait, so I'll do the parry action, and that'll just give me a +1 to my AC.
That raises your AC. And I will give you as a point of rules is that until your first turn in combat, if you were not like aware and ready for the fight, you do not have that reaction because you haven't gained it yet. So whether he had a reactive strike or not, he would not be able to take it just yet.
Okay.
All of you would be because you were the ones getting the drop on him.
We were initiating, yeah. That could I change that to then stride away from him? So
yeah,
that
absolutely. You can
Okay.
just move right out.
I will just move away. I didn't know that about the reaction, so I'll just like hello and just run away.
That is a good strategy. In Pathfinder 2, not being there is often the best defense. You can't split your movement like in 5e, which makes your positioning very tactical, because if you move away, they have to spend at least one of their actions chasing after you. And that will limit the number of times they can attack you. Alright, Zarprax, can you finish this? This guy is low from that stab from the main ghost.
Okay, so if possible, I'd like to... Zarprax will move in within range of him. And then I'd like to try and demoralize him by specifically pulling out a failed health code inspection sheet out of my bag of esoterica, because this place looks like a filthy dive. So, and then I'll try and demoralize him as my second action.
Yeah, roll to demoralize.
That is going to be a total of 18.
Let me see. Yes, that succeeds. He said, "The health code inspectors! No, I should have known that's who you are. That's why you were paying so much attention to my gumbo. How dare you, my nemesis!" But he seems shaken by this sudden surprise health code inspection, and it weakens all of his statistics. This is gonna make him a lot easier to deal with.
And then I will use my last action to make an attack against him.
All right, and you're flanking with the supposed inspector who was checking the gumbo.
So I'll use my long sword for that if I can get it to roll, which it doesn't seem to want to roll. Cannot get it to roll. Roll a regular d20 and add it manually, like a peasant. That's a roll of 16.
All right, well, a 16 will hit.
And then for a damage...
What is this paper and pen that you speak of?
that will be 4 damage.
4 damage. All right. So he is just barely clinging to consciousness at that point. So he's still up. No, and he has time to go because it's his turn at this point. So
Amazing.
he says, "Health inspectors, take this!" And he moves back behind the gumbo. I don't think either of you has a reactive strike either for this. And then just like dumps it all on you. "How about that? Inspect that!" he says. So I need both of you who didn't move back. That's gonna be Leru and Zarprax to roll a reflex save.
Oh no.
Against the sudden gumbo.
Going to be 10.
Alright, that'll fail.
That'll be 13.
Also fails.
How do reactions work? Are those only on your turn?
They can be taken at any time. Is your reaction against an attack or against any damaging thing? I can't remember.
Any damage. It says
Any
once
damage.
your damage you.
So
Well-
do you want to use your once a day reaction against this? You can if you want.
I'm gonna say no.
Alright.
Oh,
So I will tell you about the damage first because you actually get to know that you took damage and how much it was before deciding. So it was 2 fire damage from the scalding hot gumbo.
That's not too bad.
Well,
And you both need to roll a fortitude save as well.
Okay.
Because the gumbo
can I
was
use
not
my
finished.
glimpse of redemption at this time?
So it was not physical damage, so you
Oh.
cannot.
Okay.
But if he also attacks with his what do you call those
Weapon?
things that he's
Ladle?
using?
A
Like,
ladle?
he's got a ladle.
Okay.
Yeah, he's holding on to a ladle, and if he also attacks you with his ladle, then which it looks like he's about to do, you would be able to use your
Okay,
glimpse
great.
on that, and that does not have a daily limit.
For fortitude, I rolled 17.
Okay, that succeeds on the fortitude save.
I rolled an 11 total.
All right, that will fail on the fortitude save. So the thing about it is that so I am wrong. I checked it up. I wrote the stuff for redemption. I should have remembered. You can use it against this if you'd like.
Oh, I can.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll point out a finger directly at him and goes, "You have broken a health inspection. You better make this right." And if they choose to redeem themselves, they take no damage.
So you can only choose one ally. I know
Yes.
there's a feat you can get that lets you choose all your allies for an AoE, which is why I thought you could do it. You actually can do it on this AoE, but you can only choose one ally. And he's definitely going to choose to do no damage to that ally because reducing 2 damage by 3 would already reduce it to 0, and he doesn't want to take the penalty.
Yeah, I helped
so
the bunny
which of
out
your allies
last
would you
time. I'm
protect?
gonna help the dragon.
So,
Gotcha.
in that case, that's good because it turns out the dragon's the one that failed the save, right? Or did I misremember?
Yeah.
So, because of taking no damage and the glimpse of redemption just kind of blocked the entire thing, you were not exposed to the effects of the gumbo, which since it was partially completed and was supposed to be when it was done, it was going to be able to turn your arms and other things into like a stone fist, so it does bonus damage and can get through certain creatures' hardness. But since it was incomplete, it would have partially petrified you and caused you to become clumsy. But it didn't, thanks to the glimpse of redemption.
It's a
And
good thing
now-
I didn't eat it because that's originally what I was gonna do.
What was it done? Now he is going to attack our Banog friend because of the fact that he feels really betrayed by the person who was asking him about this was secretly a health inspector, and that's entrapment if you don't tell them that you're a health inspector in advance. And so he's going to attack you. He got a 17. Wait, no, he's got a -1 for being demoralized. He got a 16.
Yay! My AC's a 17.
Okay, then that will miss by 1. All right,
I didn't mean to betray you. I just wanted to try your soup.
there you go.
You betrayed
So-
yourself by not keeping clean kitchen.
He swings his ladle and it just misses completely after his gumbo spill barely did anything. It did deal 2 damage to Laru. All right, so that's his turn. What about Ahoy?
Ahoy kind of just looks through the room with his gun raised. How is this guy looking?
He is beat up he's been stabbed by a man ghost. And then what was your weapon again, Zarprax? Was it
It's a longsword.
longsword and slashed by a giant longsword? And he was at the end of his rope. He's calling out and screaming about this surprise health inspection. Fortunately, it seems like from where you are outside that a lot of the sound is muffled by the fact the door is only partially open. You can't hear it as well as the people who are inside, and you think the people up 2 stories, there's almost no chance they're gonna hear him shouting about a health inspection. Even if they do, they might have been oh, he's always worried about health inspections.
But would they hear my gun go off?
They probably would hear your gun go off from because you were outside.
What if I go inside and
Then
close
it
the
might be a
door?
little bit. If you went inside and closed the door and then shot it, you should be okay.
All right, I'll just kind of scooch inside, bring the door up behind me, and then I'm just gonna pull the trigger on him. So I get to re-roll with my hero point, right?
If you want to. I forget. Did you
Right.
already use one today? No, right? So
I have
you'll
not
get
used
one back after you use it. Spend one, get one. Why was it a
Alright.
1?
It was a 2, and now it's a 1.
Oh no!
Oh no!
So it's a 10 total, but yeah.
You critically fail. You would have just regularly failed. It doesn't do anything like blow up. It just, you missed. That was your turn. Because you moved in and you closed the door and then you missed. So Manny, the door just kind of got closed in front of you and it is your turn.
Me?
Yeah.
It got closed.
Yeah, by Ahoy, he closed it. So, and then you heard the muffled sound of like a gun being fired right after it was closed.
Wait, no! I kind of back up, and I burst through the door again. And I guess I want to ask, how big is the oven?
All right, so it's kind of like, you can see it in the picture, but it's kind of like a like, not an oven, but there was like a stove-ish thing. If you look at the picture there's like fire, there's some wood on it. So it's kind of like a little stove. That stove is still on fire, even though the pot has been taken off.
Okay, so I want to keep my momentum through the door and shove this pirate into the burning stove. For the queen!
Roll an athletics check to do that.
Okay. Ooh. That is a 25.
That will succeed on your athletics check to shove. Now, if you were repositioning, you can't do that into a dangerous area, but shoves that go directly backwards, you can. And so, yes, you shove him right back onto the fire. Let me see about this fire damage. That does just a few points of fire damage, but that is enough. That is what he had left. As he's burned by his own fire, and he kind of just like collapses forward off of the fire.
Hoisted by his own kebab.
So sorry.
Now, as a redeemer, I'm going to assume you're going to try to take him alive and give him a chance or something like that, Manny?
He had his chance, but then he started swinging his ladle around.
Can I patch him up? Is there anything I can do?
Yeah, you can. Roll a medicine check to see if he lives or dies.
Okay, oh god, this is so much
cool.
pressure. Okay.
You're really good at medicine.
I know, but I'm a bad roller.
That's fair.
13 total.
So 13 is going to be not enough for first aid. You can try again as he's bleeding out. So it's a little bit harder the next time, but let me know what you get there.
16.
Okay, that made it, just barely.
I'm just gonna be like, yeah, patching him up. I'm so sorry. We didn't really help those pictures. It's okay. I just wanted to know about your soup. It smells really good. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you aren't the health inspector?
So he's unconscious, but he's not going to die unless you guys come back and kill him later. And you pulled him off of the fire. So that's a good news. So you're able to check the rest of this room, and as is maybe obvious by the fact that he came out to attack you when you came into this room, there is nobody else in this particular room other than him. Now, you can see on the map that that Wanda scouted out that there's 2 ways to go onward, one of which is obviously going to lead you to the stairs right away, and another of which kind of circles back more towards the front.
Before we choose a way, can I pocket some of the stone that
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'd also like to vial up some of the gumbo.
Yeah,
I grab one of the shrimp and just...
Yeah, you could try to take out the
Poison.
parts that hopefully won't turn you partially into stone. But yeah, the Yaramite is worth 10 gold pieces from someone who knows how to use it as a magical ingredient. It
just
looks
remember
like
not to eat the gold pieces, guys.
Laru has made like all the money so far for the team. But yeah, you absolutely can do that.
Because I'm
And-
The health inspector report back into the bag of esoterica.
The little red rectangles are the doors on the map, correct?
That's correct. The red
Okay.
rectangles are the doors on the map. One that is going to the east would lead you directly to the stairs if you want to go up. If you want to clear out the front, then you would probably want to go south into that room that the window showed had like a table in it. Wanda doesn't think there's anybody in the room with the table because most of it was visible from the window.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore it probably would have been obvious somebody in that galley, right? Or not the galley, sorry, that is the mess. If someone was in the mess eating right now, Wanda thinks would have seen it. It's possible they were like in the corner like with their back against the wall, like, right near where the window is, but off to the side, but probably.
If, I want to do just a quick check on both doors after the fracas of that little combat. See if I can hear anything happening in those other rooms that we might need to address.
All right, that makes sense. So what you listen to the rooms, and you, based on what you rolled on perception, you're pretty confident there's not any creatures or loud noises coming out of either of the next two doors.
Manny is going to drag the body over to some burlap sacks, kind of hide him away, then take some flour and spread it over the blood that we spilled on the ground. Just had to say
this
that.
This is not Manny's first time.
So people are, you're thinking of heading to the east, along the pathway that would lead to the stairs. And it's not that the stairs are actually visible to Wanda. That's a little part of the room that you could see. You couldn't see from where the windows were, but that the stairs are obviously there because Wanda saw them come up onto the veranda, which was outside. So, having opened that door, it leads into a hallway. Empty rum barrels fill this northern corner of this otherwise sparse hall. A staircase east of the barrels ascends to the second story. There were a lot of barrels. You can see them on the map. So basically, it needed, when Manny was moving the barrels and bags to get the flour and to hide the body, that also was necessary to actually open the door because of how many barrels were stacked here. Otherwise, you would have had to go south, down, and around. So it turned out that Manny helped the team in multiple ways. There possibly by accident. There's no pirates in this room, at least that you see. But you expect the stairs to move up onto the veranda where that Gamayun parent lady with the mouse is theoretically guarding, but is very distracted by how much she loves her mouse. Let me see. How are you planning on sort of timing or sneaking up there?
Well, we're here to find the piece of map that
That's right.
Damati lost to these pirates, right? So
Yes.
Should we search downstairs just in case the piece of map is downstairs?
I don't know if they leave it unguarded.
Doubt they would, but it would suck to go all the way up, not find it, come down and find it in a chest next to the first room that we were in.
Well, if we find this Melaran and kill him, then maybe we won't have to sneak around.
Let's see what kind of stuff he can cook before we kill him, though.
Yes,
I think
we will
the
give him a
cook is
chance.
cooked. I don't think that they will have second cook. This does not look like two-cook operation.
We've had first cook.
Oh, what about second cook?
Can I check this door that's in the hallway that the stairs are in? Does it have a locking mechanism on it?
It does not.
Okay,
These
I was
people
going
are
to try.
not very good at security.
If you're
We could
inside
put-
the place, you don't.
Barrels in front of the door?
It's a good idea.
So yeah, it does not look like it has a locking mechanism. It's an old distillery, and they did not keep that secured apparently.
If all goes terrible, we just light rum barrels on fire and smoke all out.
Yes.
Smoke is great motivator. Fire good too.
I agree. I can go upstairs and wait until she passes, and then signal you all up, and we from behind.
All right, roll a stealth
Works for me.
check.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll stick with this dice. This dice has been nice to me. Haha!
That mouse
Dice.
is freaking me out.
We got some art of the.
Oh god.
Oh god! Oh god! What is that mouse?
I
It's a
know.
blood mouse. It's a blood mouse. It's a local type of mouse that lives in the area.
I love him.
Horrifying.
Yeah, that's a demigorgon mouse.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute.
All the numbers left my brain after I saw that.
Stephanie's
mouse's
dreamed about this mouse
weird
before.
Mosquito flower mouth. 21 on stealth.
21 on stealth. Okay, that is more than enough. So, she's patrolling around. Now, one thing you notice is that Wanda was definitely correct about the fact that there's that upper balcony where there's two other folks up there. There's a chance that they might be able to notice if you get into a fight with this lady. Whereas they would be less likely to notice if you slip past her into the room that is across the hall. But either way, they won't be able to get down to you probably very easily. But as you can see, when you come up the stairs, there's a door almost right away that if you turn left, that you could try to duck into as she goes past. So I think either of those would be a viable plan, either trying to take her down when she's not looking and goes past, or to just kind of bypass her into the central area. Which do you guys think you want to do?
I was just asking, the central area is what, A7?
So A7 is the veranda you're going to come up on, but the central area is inside those stone walls. That's back in the building again.
That hallway,
it's through
specifically.
that red door into that hallway that has 8, 9, and 10.
And then the other two guards are on the same platform, just...
The other two guards are on A12 up above. They can see
Got it.
what's going on A7 very easily,
Got
but
it.
they would not see you coming into A11. Because A11 is still inside. That's where the stairs are going to go.
Okay.
Now, it's not obvious to you exactly where the stairs are inside due to the fact that there's no window there, but it was clear that there's stairs in there somewhere, because otherwise you can't get to the third floor.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll just give like quick hand signs of like stab or run.
So, third option. Could I use Wanda as like the guards patrolling after she goes a little bit past it? Could I have her try to knock over all of the things like towards the bottom of like that screen, like barrels, whatever, and then like fly off the veranda, like kind of cause a distraction?
You could definitely create a diversion. That would make it, if she was all the way down there, that would make it for you to get into that door. Like, she's already patrolling, so at some point she'll be away from the door, but if she's even paying attention to something else, then she's going to have a very low chance. So, yeah, you can absolutely do that.
With this distraction, it's something that the guards will hear as well, yes?
Yes, they will also be potentially distracted by that, looking at whatever Wanda is. They may not see that the flying bunny has, like, ducked underneath the veranda, but they would see that this lady is dealing with the distraction down there.
Well, I want to just run around to the other side and maybe climb up to the second platform behind them as they're looking.
Climb up from the outside. Now, that's fairly difficult, but you are good at athletics.
Yes.
It still is probably a little less than a 50-50 that you'll be able to get up there quickly enough, but you do have a chance.
I do.
So if you want to do that, then let me know.
Okay, should we resolve Stephanie's
first resolve the distraction first.
Yeah.
So roll me a stealth for Wanda again, just to make sure that she gets over there. She doesn't really have to roll to move the boxes. That's just going to happen.
That's a 9.
Okay, so that is probably going to be noticed. Do you want to use that second hero point that you got when you used the first one?
Yep,
okay.
I do.
Wanda just using all your hero points.
Yeah, Wanda is just a hero point sink.
Which is great, because that's a 22.
Okay, that's perfect. Nobody noticed. Once again, just like Wanda's excellent scouting off of the hero point did well. Wanda sneaks over, just starts moving some of the crates, and then ducks under the veranda by flying. This leads the Gamayan with the mouse to just come over there and start paying attention to that. The guards who are up at the top seem like they're watching her doing that. It's like, hey, what's going on? And everyone's pretty distracted. This would give you an opportunity to enter the door or to try to climb the outside of the wall, Manny, if you want.
I got an athletics of 19.
Okay. Can anyone else give you a boost? With just roll an athletics on there. It's not very hard.
Can we use athletics untrained?
You could roll untrained as a assist to help out.
As a trained?
If you use it untrained, that's just rolling strength. So, you're decently likely to assist.
I will have scampered over to that door to like check it out, and then when I see Manny kind of like struggling a little bit, I'll like.
All right, roll to assist. If either of the two of you succeed to assist and neither of you critically fails, then that's enough to get Manny up. Because it was 20, that's why I was saying it would be fairly challenging even for Manny.
Wow.
You both got 12?
19.
19. So the little seaweed leshy lends a vine of seaweed and like a little sargasso bit just lifts you up, and you're able to scamper up to the top, and where there are two very very surprised Gamayun are up there, not expecting a Chochori of all things, like an
Of all
aquatic
things.
amphibious creature to have just climbed up their wall. So I guess we should roll initiative at this point.
Heck yeah.
God.
And your allies are like not with you. So we'll see
This
see
is gonna
what
be
happens.
wild.
Oh no, I love it.
Do I
Just a
roll?
20 total.
Do I roll initiative with athletics right now? I guess I can always use.
You
perception.
could, but you can also use your perception. And you guys are avoiding notice in general, so I'm gonna say that you can roll stealth.
Mhm.
So say that for me again. I was a question. So what did people get?
20 total.
20. That's great,
I also
Zarprax.
got a 20.
All right, that's great for sudden kelp on a 20. You guys will be able to adjudicate between yourselves which of you wants to go first since you're tied.
Help, you will almost certainly have more decks than Zafra.
It doesn't matter who has higher decks. You could decide to go first.
I'm just thinking Kelp will be quicker off the spring.
Makes sense.
I have terrible initiative all day. I got an 11.
Mine's 13.
All right, so that's 13 for Leru.
I got
And what
17
about
to
Ahoy?
stealth.
Ahoy got a 17. Okay, so I'll bring... The mouse is too distracted to come in on the first round of initiative, but she'll probably notice on the second round. So I will roll in the two who can act now, and the first one to act is going to be Sudden Kelp and Zarprax.
Alrighty. I was I didn't know if I'd go first. I was attempting to look up the rules, but I'll just ask. I have a climbing kit.
Yes.
Could I use that effectively to follow in Manny's footsteps?
The climbing kit would help you to like set up a major climbing situation and can make it easier to climb like mountains or other things like that. One thing Manny can do is that Manny has rope, and if Manny drops rope, the situation gets much better for you starting from that point.
How...
You could also try to use a grappling hook to like set up a grapple point and then climb up from
I
there.
realized I should have probably done that.
How big is Sudden Kelp?
I'm small.
Is there any way we could fastball special Sudden Kelp? Because Zarpax, given that we're on the same initiative, try and throw him.
So normally it's difficult to like move a character a very large distance, but this floor is not that high up. So I'm gonna say yes. It's kind of like a shove to shove up, and since you're a pretty tall dragon, when you're carrying the top of Sudden Kelp, you can just like shove him up another additional 5 feet. He'd be able to grab at the edge and then climb up the rest of the way. So I think that can definitely happen.
In that case, if it makes sense, I'll use the delay action to just move.
Yeah, you can delay to go
behind.
after sudden In fact, you don't have to because you tied.
Okay.
But normally
Cool.
you would use the delay action.
Then yeah, Zarprax, let's do this.
So what is it that I would need to roll for this? Is it athletics?
This is going to be athletics, but it's a very easy one because he's not struggling. It's a light.
20 total.
That's more than enough.
Fastball special in there.
So what happens is you pick him up, lift him up there, throw him up there, and he's grabbed a ledge on and like hanging up there on the edge of that upper balcony. And you have an action left.
I will go through the door and take as much of my movement inside to get to the stairs because I'm never climbing out there.
All right,
so I'll
yeah,
just
that makes
try and
sense.
get
You have 25-foot move.
through. I believe so.
All right. So you're able to barely see that there are 3 doors in here as you kind of expected based on some of the windows, and that you don't see the stairs yet, but you see that last turn in the hallway, so they might be down that hallway. As it turns out, since I showed you all the entire floor plan, that is where the stairs are. But Zarpraz doesn't know that for sure just yet.
Yeah,
all right, so it's going to be Sudden Kelp.
Oh goodness. Okay, on the way up, I will have I'll use an action to draw my rapier, and then I will move up and attack one of the guards.
All right, so you're gonna have to scrabble up onto the balcony, but that's the bad news. The good news is you turned out to be right next to one of the guards when you do that, and they definitely did not expect this. Like Aleshi just like climbs up the balcony, draws a rapier, and stabs them. Completely caught them by surprise.
I feel like I climb over the edge and then just like look up at them. And just stab.
See, they were near the edge of it in the first place because they were watching what was going on with the Gamayon lady and her mouse over with the destruction from Wanda, and so therefore you were easily in position for a rapier.
Not a great roll. That is just a 13.
All right. Well, given the fact that they're off guard, that will hit.
Oh, nice. Okay. Not
That's
too
right.
bad a thing.
+4.
That is going to be 9 points of piercing damage.
All right. A stab is bleeding from the Gamayon, getting blood all over his feathers. He's badly hurt, but he's still standing.
Okay. And then...
And you've got, you scrabbled up, you drew your rapier, and you stabbed. That should be 3.
Okay, yes, yeah. Unsheathing the rapier was 1. Yep, okay.
Yep,
Then I
because you did
am-
say you didn't have it out yet.
Because I didn't. Because I wouldn't. I don't think. I wouldn't be trying to do all of that fastball specialing with a sword out. That would have been a bad idea.
That makes perfect sense. So now it's time for the one who did not just get stabbed. So that one is what's going on? Intruders! There's a Leshy and a Chori that climbed up the walls. What are you even freaking doing down there, Pito? Just playing with your mouse? She's like, no, there's crates. It's like, no, they're up here. What about the crates? It was a distraction. You fool. And then is going to move around into a flank with the other ally against Sudden Kelp. And then draws a dagger and is going to attack Sudden Kelp. All right, that is a natural 20.
Oh god. Yeah. Yup.
Oh,
That is going to be a critical hit, Sudden Kelp. Let's see how much you take.
I'm
That's
going to
be...
try to glimpse of redemption that if I can.
You absolutely can, because you're
Yep.
within 15 feet of both of them. I mean,
Yes.
this is the only person you can glimpse of redemption.
Save me.
Disarm yourself, or suffer my wrath.
So it would have been 6 damage. So I get the choice between taking 0 damage, or dealing 0 damage, or dealing 3 damage and being enfeebled. I think that at this point, like, these are intruders. We're attacking our base, not going to spare them. So you still take 3 damage, but now this particular goon is enfeebled 2, which means they'll take a -2 penalty on damage rolls for until the end of their next turn.
Ooh.
Not on attack rolls because they use dexterity for attack rolls instead of strength, and the enfeebled condition doesn't apply to that. So that is it for this goon, because I moved to a flank, I drew my dagger, and I made my... Ahoy! It's your turn.
So Ahoy's still on that second floor, and
Correct.
the guard just got alerted. So he's just gonna immediately pull the trigger on the one with the mouse.
All right, go ahead and make your attack.
That is a 24? 24.
Okay, well, she sure is happy that, or she would be happy that you do not have the rogue ability to automatically make people off guard, but she is instead unhappy because there was a diversion and you guys were hidden, so she's still off guard against Ahoy during the fight. She only saw the people who were in the upper floor fighting up there. That barely makes this a critical hit, whereas otherwise it would
Wow.
have not been. And that will be the end of her, I think, because...
A lot of things are about to happen.
This is gonna be a lot
Yes.
of damage.
So,
Because
yes,
I get
it's good.
my damage goes up to a D12 if I'm reading this right.
Correct.
And then I double that, whatever that damage is, and then add another D12 after.
So it's even
that-
better than that. You double not only the D12, you double the +2
Mhm.
that you also have, and you double the extra D6 from your sniper
Yes.
ability because you rolled initiative using stealth. And then once
Correct.
all that is doubled, you add the extra D12.
Oh, she done.
Okay,
Guys, I made the wrong build.
Let me do that then.
Okay.
So for the D12 roll, that's an 8. That was
Okay.
What is that? 10
So that's 10,
doubled
that's 20.
to 20.
Now roll the D6.
2,
Doubled.
so 4, so
Yes,
24.
that's 24. Now add the D12 that isn't double. And then, by the way, she had 14 hit points. But
24 plus 2, so 26, more than double her health.
not
What I
quite.
imagine, or not quite double, just a little over,
She had
right?
14, so...
Oh, my bad. I thought I heard 12. He kind of like, as she kind of turns around, he intends to like give a warning shot, and then like you should get out of here with your mouse, but instead just and he's like, oh, oh.
The mouse, like, it's very upset about what just happened.
Random question: are tugtugs carnivorous?
Yes, they're generally insectivores, but they can eat anything that's small enough. Now, this mouse is a little bit bigger than it appears in the art. There, it was drawn a little bit small to scale, so it's probably a big thing for the tugtug to eat entirely. But like, it could like eat the meat of the mouse.
Does it look like it's gonna attack me, or does it look like it's gonna run off?
Oh, mouse looks like it's probably going to attack you.
Okay, I'm gonna run up to it then, and I'm just gonna. I don't know if I'm able to do this. I want to raise up my gun and hit it with the reinforced stock.
You absolutely can. That's why you got the reinforced stock. So, roll your second attack roll. Remember to give yourself a -5 to this because it's your second attack.
Yeah, you kill that mosquito mouse.
-5, so 9, and then add the 7, so 16.
So let me
There you all talk about blood.
to my little blood mouse. My blood mouse will be hit with a 16. That hits. So give me your damage.
It is only 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay, you smack the mouse, but it just kind of like moves those like Demogorgon like mouth flaps angrily, and it seems like that there's a little bruise, but it didn't really hurt it that much.
All right.
Just send coming.
All right. So the mouse is not in initiative this round though, because of the fact that I said those two were distracted by the distraction on their turn. So next up is the injured goon that got stabbed by the rapier. So that goon is going to also try to attack with a dagger. Draws a dagger and makes an attack against Sudden Kelp. Maybe I'll get another natural 20.
I bet.
It is not another natural 20. Fortunately, unfortunately, you decide. It is going to be a 14.
14 misses.
So then I will... Let's see. I think I will attack one more time.
I was going to say, fudging's a thing. You can make it a 20.
Alright, this is a natural 1. So it critically fails.
Not a chance.
So that is it for the second pirate goon. And Leru, it is now your turn.
So if I were to scramble onto the railing, could I use my ability to jump 5 feet straight up? Would that be enough to make it onto the second floor, or like be able to like hoist myself over the railing or something?
So in fact, if you had a perch such as like Zarpraz is still standing with like hands up as a perch that you could use that was solid enough of a leaping point, then your powerful leap ability from being a rabbit would be enough that you could then grab your way up.
Okay, could I do that? Is there?
Yes.
Okay.
You can. Now, normally when you're doing like a leap in the middle of movement or something like that, there's a rule in the Pathfinder core rulebook that suggests to GMs to sort of not sort of nickel and dime the way that the movement is split into 3 different types of movement, but instead combine it into a smaller number of actions. So I'm going to do that. Since it uses far less than your normal number of movement, even though it's 3 discrete parts, we'll say it uses just 2 moves for that.
Okay, 2 moves.
2 actions in total to like move up, do the leap, and get up to the top.
Okay, and then once I am up there, can I do my Addling Blast on whatever guard is closest to help out my friends being attacked?
Now, unfortunately, no, because you only have 1 action left.
Yeah.
Two actions.
And it's a 2-action ability. But if Zarpraz and you are both willing to have you just end your turn, like sort of standing on Zarpraz, you could do the cone from there and hit the.
I didn't realize that I could. I didn't realize that I could stay there as a launching off point. So I'm happy.
Oh wait! Sorry,
stay
I forgot that you went inside the building, didn't you? I just totally blanked on that. You're not still outside. You went off.
Yeah, Zarprax went inside, but
I forgot about
was
that. Never mind.
purely because I thought that I couldn't be a boosties for anyone else. But if I can give uppies, I will stay out. I will have stayed out to give uppies.
I'll allow that retcon because it's fun, and also I forgot and thought you were outside and told people that they could do that when I was wrong. So, and we'll say that, you didn't spend the action. You would have had one action left if you had some kind of one action Majugger that you wanted to do. So, yeah, from that point, because they moved to the side of the railing in order to flank against Sudden Kelp, that also means that they and Sudden Kelp are in a 15-foot arrangement. Now, you can avoid hitting your allies, so that will just hit both of them with the Idling Blast. So I will attempt my will save against this. Now, unfortunately... Oh, never mind. I rolled the second one. And now I can just say fortunately and unfortunately. So, unfortunately, one of them got just an absurd will save and critically succeeded. But the other one got an absurdly bad will save and critically failed. So, it is as different as possible. The critical success one is totally unaffected by your Idling Blast. But roll your 2d4 plus 1 damage for the Idling Blast and then double it against the one that critically failed.
Okay, that'll be a total of 14 when doubled.
14 is exactly how much as this one has. So I'm just going to also point out that it was Stupefied 2, weakening its spells and special song abilities that Algamayan pirates have, and Off Guard from this, but is also unconscious. All right, so that was the uninjured one that has been knocked unconscious, and the injured one is badly injured from the rapier already. So it's now Manny's turn.
Oh, that's me. I'm like, who is that? Who is that? Who is that guy? Okay, so one is unconscious from the bunny, and is on the ground. The other one's still in melee with our Kelpie friend. And then he goes, "I said, help, or I will fuck you!" And I'm gonna run up with my shield and try to shove him off the roof.
Okay, yeah. You can do it. He will land on the veranda below.
Yeah, will he take damage if that? If he'll fall and take damage?
He will.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll take.
So,
he'll take probably 5 damage for falling 10 feet.
That's a natural 20 for 27.
That knocked him actually 10 feet. Unfortunately for you, he was not in that one specific spot where he would have fallen 2 stories, because that was the one that was knocked unconscious by the Idling Blast. So he falls down almost exactly, weirdly into a flanking position with the mouse against Ahoy, except the 5 falling damage knocks him out.
Hey! All right.
So, you knock him out, and he would have been able to grab the edge, actually. It acted so far, but since you critically succeeded, he was pushed 10 feet, which caused him to not be able to grab the edge, because otherwise he would have been Wile E. Coyoteing in the air or something like that.
That's what I'm talking about.
There you go. So you move to a spot where you would be directly behind him to push him off. You shoved him off. You've got 1 action left, and there are no conscious enemies that are up here in the area. You cleared the one with 2 people. The rest of the team spent a lot of actions getting up to where you were, or dealing with one of the people who was down there. But the mouse is actually the style that's active in the area right now.
Okay.
And it's down below where you can't reach it.
Yeah, so I don't think I've seen the combat underneath, so I'm just going to run through the door that's available and try to make my way down from the top.
All right, so you're going to move up to the door, and then next turn you'd be able to open it.
Sure, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so I will now roll the mouse into initiative, because it is now the turn that I said that the mouse was going to get to join initiative.
20.
Amazing. Here it comes. This mouse.
This mouse is about to ace us.
Mouse is good at initiative. If it rolls high enough, it will go before.
Watch this mouse just...
Yeah.
Wreck us.
The mouse is the problem.
The mouse actually
is the pirate boss.
Totally didn't go first. And the mouse, it squeaks and chitters mournfully at the remains of its good friend over there, who you kind of splattered with your gun. And thankfully for the mouse, I guess, the malefactor who shot the mouse's friend has moved right up to it. So the mouse is not going to have to use a leaping strike on you, but instead going to attack
Yeah, prefer
you.
it not to.
It's going to attack you with its proboscis.
The image
So
of a mouse having a
that is a
proboscis
20.
Oh, you just got
Okay.
probed by a mouse. How's it feel?
All right, so the mouse is going to hit you with its proboscis for 5 piercing damage,
Oh.
and it attaches onto you.
Oh
Yes.
no.
I love
It's similar to grabbing you, except for that is now it moves with you. You are not stuck where you are. It's a tiny mouse. It's off guard while doing so,
Yes.
and it's going to use blood drain to try to drain blood from you. So here's what is going to happen here. You will take an additional 3 piercing damage from the blood drain. The mouse will gain temporary hit points. And you are also drained 1 until you receive any amount of healing. This causes you to lose 1 from your current and maximum hit points temporarily and to take a penalty on fortitude. But once you're healed, that'll go away.
So I
So-
take another 1.
Yeah, you take another 1, which also reduces your maximum. And
This mouse
That-
is a beast.
Wow.
that is the end of the mouse's turn because it had to, even though you were next to it, it's so tiny that it had to like actually move into your space and attack you. So that is the end of the mouse's turn, and it means that it is time for Zarprax, who I accidentally teleported back outside by forgetting that he went inside.
It's okay, because I was outside, wasn't I? Because I was doing the eppies. I will move towards the mouse, and then I will dig into my bag of tricks and pull out a mouse trap that's still got the bones of a long forgotten mouse on it, and I will use that to demoralize the mouse with my second
Okay.
action
Amazing.
for a total of 22.
All right, that definitely demoralized the mouse. It was already like demoralized by its ally, its friend being so brutally murdered. In fact, that almost critically demoralizes the mouse, but doesn't.
And then I will stab it with my longsword.
All right.
Or hear me out. We try to befriend this mouse.
I would have tried to befriend it up until the proboscis came
I'm
out.
still waiting for
If
when
it's
that
got
frog's
probes,
coming out.
It has to die.
That strengthened my desire for friendship.
That is a 17 to hit.
Yeah, that will definitely hit its off guard AC. 16 hit it even before that. So roll your damage.
And then that will be a total of 9 damage.
That easily not only gets through its temporary hit points, but also cuts into its real health. As you slash into this tiny mouse, some of its blood is spilling out. It's pretty badly hurt at this point. It would be squeaking in agony, but it can't really make a squeak while it's like latched on to Ahoy, so it's just kind of thrashing about.
It's a
Be
gurgling
gone now,
squeak.
little blood mouse.
All right, next up is going to be Sudden Kelp.
You said that the drop from balcony to veranda is about 10 feet.
It is about 10 feet.
I have the catfall feat, so I think I could just fall and not take
Yeah.
any damage.
You can just walk over there and fall along as part of your move. That you can
Amazing.
absolutely do that.
I am going to conjure up some first season Demon Slayer and do a 5th form Blessed Rain after the drought and just jump off and try and strike this thing dead off of our friend Ahoy.
Amazing.
Sounds good.
Described it all cool. Time to roll bad. Wow. Oh, I rolled good. 21.
21, that hits.
It's a surprise for me.
You're pretty much definitely going to defeat it.
That is going to be 12 points of damage.
That's enough. So yeah, you leap from above. The extra momentum allows you to just stab the rapier in there, and the mouse twitches a little bit, like lets out a little whimpering squeak, and then falls off of Ahoy.
I throw it off the roof.
All right.
I die inside.
No.
Thank you. It is okay, Lewis. And pull out the desiccated mouse off the mouse trap. I can give you mouse if you want mouse.
So the next thing that happens after that, in initiative, it would be, we would say it was Ahoy, except, in fact, that door that Manny is standing right next to into A11 opens.
Yep.
Also, Sudden Kelp is no longer up here, only Manny is here.
Yep.
Oh no.
Oh
Door to
no!
A11 opens. And you see a fellow who is indeed holding this kind of weapon that was described to you before. That this is definitely Melaran Khan.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
I will show you the picture of Melaran Khan in chat so that you can see what Melaran Khan's weapon looks like. So.
Oh my god. That is.
Look at that whip.
Oh my gosh. I kind of
Like
want
pose money.
So
There was a
Melaran
moment.
Khan, yeah, he opens the door from the commotion. He sees that you guys your fight is over. Come now, he growls in his rasping drawl. Let's sort this out like sensible people, all right? I'm the sporting type. I think I know why you're here. Why don't we follow the pirate's code and have a duel? You and me. He points to Manny.
I do a little, like a 360, and a ponytail falls out, and my hair falls down on my shoulders, and I'm like, I have come for you. You shall die. For the queen. And I take 2 steps back and pull out my shield.
So it's not quite your turn yet in initiative.
I prepared to do
that.
that.
Yeah, that can be exactly what you're gonna do. I think you even have your shield out from when you smacked the guy down off of the roof. Perfect. He wishes to duel one of the party members, and he says, "It sounds like you're preparing to duel him." He says, "Good. I know you're here for the map. I don't have it, but I will tell you where it is if you beat me in the duel. Normally, I'd say let's go up to the crow's nest, but we're kind of already an entire story above everybody else for here, so we'll just do it here. That's fine. Fight until the other one surrenders, or until knocking each other out. And if you beat me, I'll tell you what happened to my part of the map. If I win, then you work for me to find the map. Either way, we'll find the map together."
I look back at the others and go, is this all right with you?
Some of you guys were nice.
If he plays dirty and breaks the rules of a gentleman, then the duel is broken and all of you may attack.
Ahoy's already reloaded and kind of aiming up, and he just gives a nod.
You can
All
see
right.
Sudden Kelp just slowly inching their way towards the door to just sneak in up the back way.
So if it looks like you're going to accept his duel, he will actually give you a moment to recalibrate yourself and let you roll initiative for the duel to be separate so that he doesn't just automatically get to go before you in the duel.
Okay.
So roll a new initiative for the duel, and I will roll for him on that new initiative. Ooh, he did worse this time.
Okay.
He should have just kept it.
Should I roll my initiative with diplomacy?
I think you can
that be
if
fitting?
you want to, because you were negotiating a duel.
Yeah.
That would work. You could also use perception, just because that's used for sense motive to try to figure out if he was telling the truth. Whichever is better for you, I would say roll that.
That'd be a 23.
Holy, yeah, you do go first. So all those things you said about what you were doing with the shield right away, but once it was determined that you guys had agreed upon the duel, you do that. So go ahead, take your actions. You start with. There's 10-foot gap in between each of you, even though you guys were right next to each other on the door. He kind of moved out so that you're each not on the edge of the balcony, but sort of halfway across between the distance between the center of the balcony and the edge. So across from each other, there's a 10-foot gap in between you.
Okay.
And you've got your shield out.
So I would need to move to get up to him, essentially, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So instead, I am going to reach out with my hand, and underneath, almost like Spider-Man-esque, like some tendrils of see an enemy will kind of poke out, and a long needle will shoot out for my charged javelin attack.
All right. Yeah, roll your charged javelin attack on him.
Ooh, that's a 18.
Yeah, that will hit. So roll me the 1d6 electricity damage, and he is just shocked with electricity. Metal attacks and electric attacks gain a bonus on attack rolls against him, and it'll take damage every time.
Okay, so that's 2 points of electricity. Didn't roll super well.
Okay. but it's going to do ongoing electricity until he gets rid of it, and it makes him easier to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've got one action left.
I will raise my shield to improve my armor class.
All right, and that allows you to block with it, too.
That's that
So, it is Melaran Khan's turn. What is in the world? I've never seen a Chochori do that, he says. He kind of rasps out. Well, I have a few tricks up my sleeve as well. And he'll move up to you, and he is going to use an, let's see. He'll use an athletics check to try to trip you. You look pretty hard to hit while you've got your shield up like that.
Okay.
So he's going to roll athletics, and he gets a total of, not good, Melaran Khan. He got a total of 9, which is not enough to trip you.
Okay, good.
It wouldn't have hit you either if he was attacking you with that. He kind of curses a little bit. Let's try that one more time. And he gets a 21 to trip you the second time, which is a success. So you fall prone.
Oh, no.
He then, as a free action, uses his kick 'em while they're down ability for when he successfully trips someone to stomp on you with his foot. Now, that's not nearly as dangerous as his spiked chain.
Uh-huh.
And furthermore, he has made so many trip attempts that his multiple attack penalty is kind of through the roof. So it's probably going to miss, but he will make his attempt.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to try to stomp you, but he only gets an 8, which obviously misses you by a mile. And with his last remaining action, he's actually going to move away so that he's not right next to you.
Oh.
Move kind of just like back to where he started. So you're prone on the ground, not next to him. He will then take 1 automatic electric damage at the end of his turn.
Okay.
And it's your turn.
Is attack of opportunities a thing if they're walking away, or not really?
If you have that ability, which generally means you have the fighter class, then you would be able to do that.
Okay, so I'm not a fighter. So as he does that, I go, "If you give up now," as I'm standing up, "and serve the queen, I may let you live." And but before he gives me an answer, I will run up. Is standing up from prone one action?
It is, and running up is the second one. So you only have 1 left.
Then I will use my enter stance then. So as you can see, like the coral on my body actually kind of shift to a tighter position where things are kind of tucked away, and just my sea and enemies are now free. And that's my turn.
Yeah, you stand up, raise your shield, and enter stance. So you're totally defended, and he's gonna have to move back up to you again now that he moved away. You given that you're dealing him damage automatically over time, you kind of outwitted him on that move away strategy that he had there.
Guys, that's so good at Pathfinder. It's so good.
What is that stance? It must be one of the secret Chochori coral stances. Well, 2 could play at that game. And he is going to rush up and attack you with his spike chain.
Okay.
The tripping obviously didn't work. Ooh, natural 20.
Ooh, is it because it's metal? Does he take a penalty to that?
He does not, although you get a bonus to attacking him. But a natural 20 is still going to be a critical hit, even with all of your super ridiculous defenses. But you do have shield block, so you're going to take really a lot less damage than it probably people would expect. So I crit you for 12.
Okay. So with my my shield stance, that reduces it by 7 to
That's correct.
5.
Yeah, you and the shield each take 5. And he's like, "What? That was my most powerful attack." And he will try to trip you with his last action, and he fails, not quite badly enough that he himself would fall prone, but it's definitely not his finest hour.
Your power is feeble in the eyes of the ocean.
He then takes 1 more electric damage from the ongoing electric damage and does not remove it. So he's taken a total of 4, 2 from the initial and 2 from the ongoing damage, and it's your turn.
Okay.
He's next to you this time.
He is, so I can attack, but shoving or tripping is an attack, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to...
he's not close enough to the edge for you to be able to knock him off easily for where he is.
Right. So I guess I'm just going to attack with my pseudopods. So these sea anemones will kind of grow and then lash out like a whip.
All right.
With a, what is that? Plus, so 17 to hit for the first time.
Yeah, and it's actually another +1 from your electric javelin, but it hit regardless.
Nice.
So
That's a 1 + 4, so 5 electricity.
minimum damage. All right, so he's taken a total of 9.
Okay.
You've got 2 actions left.
I'm gonna take a penalty to attack again, but that's
it's only a -4 penalty because your pseudopod is agile.
ooh, that's still not great. That's a 7.
No, it will miss.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
And really, the only thing I really can do again is attack again. So I'm gonna do
You
that.
could raise your shield back up to make sure you can block again on your next turn.
Oh, is it every
You
turn?
don't yeah, you do need to use it each turn.
Okay. I already said it.
Your stance is up for the rest of the fight, but your shield needs to be done each time.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I rolled to hit, and it was a natural 20.
Okay, yeah, you did say you were going to hit. But so next time you know that you can use your shield, but that absolutely hits. Let's make sure it's a crit. So that's natural 20 -8 for the double penalty is 12 plus your normal. What's your normal bonus?
7.
It's 19. Yes. So it is still a crit even with all the penalties. It might not.
Amazing.
So yeah, roll and double
cool.
it.
Thanks,
Roll
guys.
and double it.
Thanks, guys. Oh, that's a high roll. 6. Double it to 12 + 4.
Ooh, so it's actually a total of 20 because it's 6 + 4 is 10, doubled is 20. That actually is maximum damage and that is his maximum hit points. So that crit was enough to drop him. Now, I don't want to teach people who are watching who are just learning to play Pathfinder the wrong lesson, so I'm just going to tell you all this. That worked and turned out to be the right move, but generally the shield raising would have been a much better move, and making that third attack at a -1 is not the greatest. Now, thanks to the buffing that he did, giving the +1 with the ongoing electric damage, it is true that he would have had a 30% chance to hit on that final attack because he used an agile attack to decrease the penalty and he buffed it out. So it wasn't actually not that unlikely to hit. But the shield is usually worth it when you have such a ridiculous block. If Melaran hit and didn't crit, you were probably going to block the whole attack, which is just a really bad situation.
That's great.
He should not have challenged you to a duel.
No.
He's knocked out.
Yeah, you guys saw me like attach one tentacle and he like seized up. I attach another tentacle and he's like just kind of writhing a little bit, and then I just stop and he's to the ground.
You tased him using the non-lethal aspect of your electric, and that didn't put him to dying. And so, yeah, you tased him, you beat him fair and square. He'll wake up probably pretty soon and give you the information that he promised, assuming that he's good to his word. Now, those of you who are rushing in, sudden kelp, you do notice that in these 3 rooms down here, or actually, I guess you rushed up to Melaran Khan's room.
I would have been up to Melaran Khan's room first, yeah.
Yes, because you were trying to help out. It's the captain's quarters. So there is a wide bed up here in his room with a 4-poster canopy. Dominates the northeastern corner of this penthouse bedroom. Just so many times the word dominate is used in fantasy text to describe.
I love flavor text, man.
Yes.
It's the best.
An armoire in the southeast corner and a round wooden table with matching chairs complete the suite. Table is covered with well-worn paperback books, which surround a crystal decanter of brown liquor. A window to the south shows a balcony accessible by a door on the same wall. Oh, look, it's the one that you guys are out on. Along the northern wall, stairs that you took to get up here descend to the floor below. So that is what is in this room. Melaran Khan has been defeated. That kind of happened while you were climbing up. Mm-hmm. Your ally really, Manny proved himself to be a very powerful combatant there. Like, you got crit, he only took 5.
Thanks, guys.
That was wild.
Thanks for letting me do that.
Sudden Kelp just gives like a thumbs up through the window.
Melaran's lucky he didn't hit you with his stomp because he would have taken electricity damage. And you probably would have blocked the entire thing. So he would have been the only one taking any damage.
That was a really bad matchup for him.
Thanks for making me feel cool.
It's actually written in the adventure that he wants to challenge someone to a duel normally. So I kind of improvised that he did it on that balcony instead of up on the crow's nest, but yeah, it kind of worked out pretty well. So you guys are able to reconnoiter with each other. At this point, now that Melaran has been defeated, there are like 3 more basic Iron Ale goons who kind of surrender, or even 2 in the front retreat.
Cowards.
In some of the rooms that you passed by heading up there were beds, 6 hay-filled beds in the room that you can see on the map. Has what looks like a bunch of beds in there. That is the one labeled A8.
Mm-hmm.
There is also a storage room in A10 where there's a work table covered in broken weapons and ship parts. A crate, barrel, and chest fill the rest of the space, and in there, there's some potions, alchemical items, even a talisman, and a professional fishing tackle. Which gives you +1 on fishing lore checks to fish. And 3 short bows, that's pretty good. Some studded leather armor. Like, there's some good stuff in that storage room. The only room that I would say might be interesting enough for us to pay attention to what's in it is A9. This sparsely furnished personal quarters has seen better days. The hay-filled mattress atop the rickety bed frame sags terribly, and a spittoon in the corner of the room defies description. Most striking of all, though, are the room's wood plank walls, which are marred by graffiti of all types. The vandalism ranges from banal pronouncements. The name Duco appears all over and over in a childish scrawl as if someone was practicing their signature, to vulgar caricatures of the royal family, to elaborate murals that depict a handsome eye patch wearing pirate in all manner of epic situations, fighting a giant kraken, slicing through a horde of skeletons, and so forth. The murals in particular might be considered true art, if not for their crudely exaggerated subject matter. Half-empty paint jugs, sticky hog bristle brushes, and other painting paraphernalia lie scattered about the floor.
I want to doodle my little mouse friend. Can I doodle them?
Yeah,
I want to add them to the wall in memoriam.
Absolutely. You doodle your little mouse friend into the wall in memoriam. And
Yes.
As you're doing that, your dream senses kind of tell you that there's something a little bit, Dreamlands lore, there's something a little bit weird about a deck of cards that's out on the table.
Can I go pick them up and sift through them?
As you go to pick up the deck of cards, the cards just sort of like shuffle, and one of them deals itself out to you.
What is it?
It says the Fool.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And then it sort of like goes back and shuffles itself again.
Cards that deal themselves are never good.
Ooh, do me.
So you say do me to the deck, and the deck is going to shuffle itself and deals out a card for you. Drink.
Yes, I knew it.
Do I get a sense of what any of this means for us?
Yeah, what is your bonus on your Dreamlands lore or occultism?
My Dreamlands is 4, my occultism is 4, but it's 6 to identify magic based on minds, dreams, or secrets.
Alright, let's use that then. So, in that case, you believe that this is a living divination deck. It's basically a tarot deck. It's actually alive. It's a sapient creature, and it can try to communicate with you only via showing you tarot cards, because that's it can't talk. It can understand you. So what her do me, and then it forced him and dealt him out that card, but it cannot speak. It can only deal out cards.
Would I be able to use my knowledge of the esoteric to get a sense of whether there's any like inherent danger to the cards, or whether they're just a divination tool?
Yes, you absolutely can. With your esoteric lore, that is entirely in the wheelhouse of that, because they are a creature. If you anger a living divination deck, it absolutely could attack you. I mean, is it great at attacking you? Not exactly. It could do a paper cut for like 3 to 6 damage, which your shield guy could just entirely block. It mostly, it might be able to do a flurry of cards to like dazzle you with cards in. The main thing that makes it strong is that it has an aura of sealed fate that can just stop people from using their hero points or other fortune effects around it if it wants to. and it
Ooh.
has like some magic spells that are buffs and debuffs. So it's mostly
Yeah.
like a support character, but it can do a paper cut if it really wants to.
Is there anything in this room that would, like, we could make a guess as to who was in here and why they were so, like, art happy with
It's
this
a
room?
little weird, but it seems like there's 3 distinct artists who were in this room. One of them is making like crude caricatures of the royal family. One of them is signing their name constantly over top of other people's drawings. And one of them has drawings that are actually pretty good, other than the fact that it's exaggerating them some macho fights krakens and hordes of skeletons.
Amazing.
There's 3 distinct art styles at play here, and it's very difficult to try to understand what's going on there. Although, let me see. No one has art lore, but I'll roll perception. So for you for this, okay, actually, you determined that what seemed to be 3 styles turns out to actually be 2, because of the fact that the one with the not good handwriting, who is really practicing the signature, is actually the same one who's the amazingly good artist, other than the kind of subject matter being over the top stuff. Probably was not like very skilled at writing in that case for the handwriting to be that bad, but just very good, skilled pictorially, and was practicing a signature.
Does it look like someone, like, sleeps in this room? Or is it just an art gallery kind of thing?
I mean, there is a hay-filled mattress here. It's probably nicer of a place to sleep than the one that's filled with multiple different beds. But it really looks like people have just been using it as an art gallery. And that probably wouldn't... the art to you with your high perception looks somewhat recent, some of it. So it feels like wouldn't have been so easy for someone to be resting here or using this room if people were constantly drawing here. So it's possible whoever usually stays here hasn't been around.
Can I talk to the deck and ask it if it knows where the map is or who might know about the map?
Yeah, you absolutely can. So it shows you this card.
Ooh, the chariot.
The chariot. Also with a person with like
With a
hands
map.
holding a map.
So the person with the map is the person holding the map.
Hey, he's trying to help.
They must own a chariot.
Have we heard of anyone distinct with chariots?
You have not heard of any chariots related to this. Zarprax, one thing you know about living divination decks is that much like regular fortune tellers, living divination decks, they have this aura of mysticism about them, and they do try to give you something that you can interpret towards your solution, but they don't necessarily have that much supernatural powers to like know more things than like if you were a regular person who was in this area. They're not all knowing, but they like to sort of come across that way with their mysterious cards.
Okay, I have dealt with the occult before. Little deck, if you please. Are you able to draw yourself reversed for no and upright for yes?
It shows a card upright.
We will assume that is yes. Is chariot a ship?
That's good.
So, it will put the card reversed.
So chariot is not ship and it can reverse cards. Good to know. Good job, little deck.
Actually, so yeah, it puts it reversed, and then it like kind of shakes it a little bit, and then puts it upright.
So could be ship, you're not certain.
That's certain.
It kind
This
of
is
takes
helpful.
the upright ship and then kind of like turns it upside down like this.
Sinking ship. Chariot is sunken ship. Map is on sunken
It puts
ship.
it puts it right side up.
Wow, that was
Oh.
that's impressive.
This is not my first time talking to inanimate objects.
I believe it.
It's his girlfriend.
Does Melaran Khan actually know where the map is?
So he hasn't quite woken up yet, unless
I was asking the deck.
your champion. Oh, you asking the deck? Does Melaran Khan know where the map shows? A card face up.
Okay.
We wait for
Will
him to
he
wake
tell
up,
us?
threaten him with violence, he tell us where the cat is.
Will he tell us? It's kind of like.
Yeah.
I love it. This deck has an attitude.
Great.
It's a very helpful deck.
So the deck cannot really move very easily on its own. But if you want, it can fly. It can actually fly for like short distances, but it doesn't prefer to do that most of the time. But if you want to bring the deck along, it seems like it likes the Dream Rabbit and the
Yes, I was gonna ask
occult
if
and
it
the
wanted
occult
to come with
dragon.
us.
It's vibing a lot with the Dream Rabbit and the occult dragon in your group, more so than the pirates who initially were using it. So
Yeah.
it'll come with you as a companion.
Okay, yeah,
Heck
I
yes.
absolutely. I want to like. Is there like a little pillow or anything it can sit on? I want
Yeah.
to gently carry it out with us.
Pick up one of the pillows from the bed. Like,
Yeah, you take it in the cushion and bring it along. And before
Yeah.
long, Melaran Khan will wake up and he says, "All right, well, you really showed me I didn't have a deal's a deal, so I'll tell you what happened. I don't know if you're gonna like it, but neither did I. So my first mate is the one who heard that DeMarty Tixima bragging in the bar about having found the map and stole the half of the map. I'm guessing since you guys are here, you must be the ones who found the other half, but that's not my business anymore since you beat me in a pirate duel. The problem is, that first mate of mine really must have liked the idea of stealing a map from someone so much that he then stole the map from me.
And where's this first mate now?
Here's the thing about that. We were looking for the magic item that would allow you to combine the map into a whole, because apparently Poppy puts curses on maps. It's a whole thing. I don't know what you know about our previous founder, but
Nuts.
okay. So you know that she always had challenges. She was so challenging that all of her disciples failed her tests, and she would just always do extremely harsh and over-the-top challenges. Well, one of them is apparently using some kind of a magic sapphire scale in order to combine the map, which we also had, by the way. We were close. We just needed your half. My first mate ran away with the combination scale. Then, and do not ask me how, the map grew legs and retreated into a sunken ship off the coast.
Did he turn into a mule?
No, it just, I don't know, okay? It ran
It
away.
happens.
That's what I'm thinking.
you'd be surprised at how often inanimate objects grow legs.
And so we needed to try to figure out what was going on, but we decided to try to get the last piece of the map first. And, well, the whole expedition went topsy-turvy at that point. We lost some good recruits there. That we did. So we were this close, but now it's over.
You know where the sunken ship is?
Yes, I do. It's called the Gasping Gipper. It is. It's in the writhing swamp to the southeast. If you head there, maybe you'll find the walking map. Maybe you'll find my traitor of a first mate, Squat Melody, and the sapphire scale that combines the two halves. I would watch out if I were you.
Did you say your first mate's name was Squirt Malardy?
Squoten Malardy. Squoten.
Scrotum?
Squoten. With a Q.
Sock.
Got it.
I would watch out if I were you, though. I'm sure Poppy's found some kind of curse. She probably made it as some kind of challenge. I'm guessing as soon as you put that map together, you'll be on some kind of, like, timer or challenge or something else like that you have to do right away. I'm telling you this in part because I don't want this map to get destroyed. If you all die, maybe I'll be able to pick it up where you left off. And that's my best chance right now, is to have you guys put it together and then just kind of lose partway through.
That does sound like a loser's attitude. That tracks.
Yeah, you're not showing a lot of initiative.
Well, you guys just, like, killed all of my people.
You sent a bunch of recruits to do this thing that you knew was incredibly cursed. You hire
did
people
save your
that turn
cook.
mutiny. Yes, your cook is alive.
At
So
least
we
he's
take
still
him back
alive.
to the queen.
Clancy really knows what he's doing when it comes to cooking, so I'm glad that he survived. But, you know, Ryu Pito just really always loved animals. And we even had Duko, who was a budding artist. Now, all of them are dead.
Oh well, they didn't fight too hard.
Well, they're recruits. They're not the best. Quoten Malardy was my best first mate, but he betrayed us.
Duco just wanted to be an art student.
So I think this is a good place for us to stop. With you guys have your information that the next place to go would be the Writhing Swamp, so that you could head. That's also the direction of where Squoten ran away, possibly to try to get the half of the map that was there, possibly to pawn it off in Jacopo Town. Melaran Khan's not really sure. You've got neither of the two things you're looking for, but you've got more information. You've got a deck of tarot cards that you're bringing along with you, and you've completed all of Area 8 in the session. So
We did it.
Yeah.
Here for the end, I want to see if I can hear a few impressions from folks about playing the game and what it was like, and maybe if things were similar or different to what you expected for the three who had no experience with Pathfinder up until this point.
I really loved it. I think it allows a lot for like accommodating the style of play each individual player wants without like really, I feel like, I don't know if all DMs are capable of doing it within Pathfinder, but I feel like you didn't penalize people for me wanting to be a little dream weirdo instead of just stabbing things.
I can answer that in the book. There is a very specific sidebar that a lot of people miss that's about improvising actions, and it just very much sets some simple ground rules to make it easy to improvise actions, and I followed that to the letter there. It says if someone wants to do something that's out of the norm, typically it's one action. If it seems like it would take most of your turn, or they shouldn't do it 3 times per turn, it might take 2. And if it seems like it shouldn't necessarily always work automatically, they might need to roll a check for it. So there's a few other things in that sidebar, but I extensively use that to adjudicate it when, because you guys made a lot of choices that were close to, but not exactly the same as some of the actions. After all, you literally didn't know what they were, and I was able to go along with that very easily with the adjudication rules. And other than that, I think you guys picked it up really well. Hopefully my character sheets helped make it easy to understand, other than where I gave you a level 3 power by accident.
I'll take them all. But yeah, no, I thought this was really easy and just really allowed for the flexibility that I thought it would have. I'm happy to see that it felt like it did.
Yeah, I've heard that depending on your play style, D&D and Pathfinder, one of them might be easier. So for people who are more focused on the idea that there is a framework and you can use that framework to make decisions, even though you don't have to look it up on the moment or if you want to, that like to have structure behind things. Pathfinder can sometimes be easier to grok because you can kind of guess that there's going to be critical successes and they're better than the successes. You can guess what's going to happen next. Whereas with D&D, there isn't a framework, which can, for some people, leave them feeling like a little bit awash or like they don't know what to expect next. But for others, that can be freeing because they feel like, oh, well, it's easier to improvise whatever I want. Yeah. And so for GMs or players, sometimes if you have a different style of like, oh, well, I'd rather have a little more guidance versus I'd rather do it myself, one could be better or the other.
I think that was my experience too, just when I'm like, hey, I want a character that can hit people with lightning, a little coral dude that's good at protecting and whatnot. And you're like, yep. And I'm like, oh, no follow-up question? Okay, all right, you got this. Great. I also want to just send out appreciation to all of you guys. Duels are always weird for me, just because I'm like, okay, well, there's only one player playing and the rest are kind of just watching. So it is like sometimes a little awkward. So I appreciate you guys holding space and letting me do that. And I think that's just shows what great players you guys are, and overall it was just made me feel like, oh, I feel like a paladin in this moment, just doing that stuff. So yeah, it was great.
I'm so glad it worked out, leaving the champion out there to do the duel. Like, it was totally random that happened, and he hadn't gotten to do as much in fights. As he said, he had never made an attack with his pseudopod until that point.
True.
So it was good to give spotlight to his character there. It showed off some of his abilities that we wouldn't have otherwise seen, and it fit the character's roleplay. It all happened just sort of spontaneously from where things were in the adventure.
Good job. Good job running it.
Yeah.
That was good.
I'll say, building off of that, I've always heard about how part of the Pathfinder style is meant to be this like tactical, okay, you do this to give a -1, you do this to give a +2, like everyone's fulfilling some sort of role. And I really felt like that came through here.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't feel like any of us, I don't know the thaumaturge well enough to maybe say, maybe Anton, you could have handled that duel as well, but like I couldn't have done the duel. I would have sucked at that. Like that was a perfect opportunity for Manny to be in spotlight and to really like cash in on a lot of those abilities. I felt like we all got to do things that were within our kit. Like the sniper one-shotting, like, oh, we're fighting on 2 flanks. Never mind. We're not fighting on 2 flanks because you just wiped that
Flank
person off the map.
removed.
Flank removed. Yeah, exactly. Like there were so many times that each of our little kits came in clutch to do something that it was like, oh, we kind of are like an Avengers Assemble thing, doing every little piece to build to success.
Yeah, it is very team-oriented. I agree. It's cute.
I was waiting for that frog to come out again at some point. I'm like, I know that thing's
I had
there.
so
I
many
know
of
it.
I was waiting for
Love him.
Chekhov's frog. I was waiting for it.
I gave him a name.
Did you?
What's his Ribbert.
Wibber?
Ribbert.
Ribbert. Okay.
It's like Robert, but Ribbert.
Yep.
There were
Nice.
definitely some good teamwork moments. I think one that stood out where the debuffs and buffs helped a lot was, let's see, there was a crit that happened because of an off guard, and then there was the attack that missed against Stephanie because of the fact that Anto demoralized the enemy, and that lowered its accuracy by 1. Which is
by just enough.
And Leru finally got her pet at the end.
I did.
It might have not been a mouse or a frog. It was an animate deck of cards.
I will cherish it all the same.
If I could be greedy, I was also anticipating. I've always seen like it's hard to be a rogue, and like you're always hunting for that off guard. And I didn't. Maybe it was just because we were that on point, or we just got lucky with like initiative and stuff. But I was never struggling to get that off guard, so that helped my character sheet sing a little bit more.
I can tell you, I've seen the same things that you've seen, but it never, ever been my experience. In fact, in my game, we had a rogue, we played level 1 to 20. It was more likely that something would be off guard from 3 different sources at the same time, all of which made it than that Z would make it off guard.
Wow.
By which I mean, like, remember that one time where I was like, well, you're flanking, but also, thanks to the initiative changing, you have your surprise strike, so it's off guard for 2 reasons.
Yep.
So, in that campaign I ran where I had the rogue, things were off guard for 1 or 2 reasons. But it was more likely to have a third one than to have 0. Just...
That's
it depends on your group.
Yeah.
A lot of it is very group dependent, especially when it comes to the conditions and the team play, interplay. I think off guard's probably the most common condition you're going to see because flanking is the easiest thing to get. But because so many of the other conditions are tied to like non-attacking actions or non-traditional actions, you really have to have players that are in the mindset of hitting something isn't always the best idea and the best course of action. And if you lean into that, then you get status conditions and cool things and buffs and debuffs just all over the place, which is where the system really shines.
And I think all of you did a really good job just playing your characters, trying cool things, and I had a lot of fun with this game. If people wanted to go to that sunken ship and play it again, I'd run it. But I'm sure it's going to be difficult to like get together like a whole bunch of people again when it's not Kraken.
Kraken Week is an anomaly.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, this is great. I really appreciate you running this for us. This was a lot of fun. I'm really glad I finally got to try Pathfinder.
Right?
No, I've been wanting to forever, but no one around me was running any games where I could just join in, so...
That's what happens for DMs, right? We're always searching for a game to actually play a part of.
I run 3 play and 3 right now, so I trust me, it's bad. I'm a yes person. It does not serve my well-being, but it serves fun. But yeah, no, I really appreciate it. I thought this was really great and this was fun, and I'm excited because I think next is I'll definitely try running it at some point now. I'll definitely at least try some one-shots. I've been convinced to dabble more.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. If you need any tips or advice when you're starting off running, you can just send me a message and I'll help you out.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And now I know if I ever want to terrify my players, I put a little mouse with mosquito proboscis.
Yes.
So
In
that is
there.
a blood mouse. It is
I
a blood
love
mouse. It
him.
is from Battle Zoo Bestiary, which there's a Pathfinder 2 and a 5e version of.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Even if you
Yeah.
only run 5e, you can send a blood mouse at them. And
I have the
Jewel of-
book, so I can go back. I can use it.
Yeah,
So,
you can
great.
do it right away.
Mhm.
And this was the Jewel of the Indigo Isles Adventure Path. Both of these two books are by Roll for Combat in the Battle Zoo line. And Jewel of the Indigo Isles is for Pathfinder 2nd Edition and 5th Edition.
Mhm.
I read the Pathfinder 2nd Edition version here today because the whole point of this was that people wanted to play Pathfinder, but a 5e version exists as well. And these are, I'm the director of game design for Roll for Combat now. I previously worked at Paizo as one of the creators of Pathfinder 2nd Edition. I guess I didn't say that at the beginning of the show, but this
We
is on
can-
my channel. You guys know, it says it on the bottom channel about Arcane.
But yeah, no, this is great. I
This is
really
super fun.
appreciate it.
Well, in that case, that was a great debrief. I think we can stop recording now. Take care, everybody, audience, and we will see you next time on Arcane Mark.
Hey,
Bye.
peace, get, see ya.